On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, we will talk to you about how Christmas is saved, because people thought it wouldn't happen. So there's new servants, that's great. There's also a Case Files Blu-ray celebration, that was kind of out of nowhere. We will also be talking about our first impressions of Holy Night, Samba Night, the tournament to end all tournaments, until we have another tournament arc. Anyway, hi, I'm one of your hosts, I'm Omega, I'm the commish, and with me as always, is he a berserker or a saber? You'll never know, it's Lucky.
Everyone, I hope you're enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka Fist of the North Pole. And while we here at StudiOmega like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and the AM version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should just leave the ring.
Yep. Hi, we're back, guys.
What's up?
It's doing the thing. No, what's up is tomorrow, Lucky.
True.
Oh, the puns. Okay, alright, so we've got a show up for you today. It will do stuff. I probably should have mentioned this off the top, but I don't know how much people actually care about that. It'll be in the title. We are going to do Teach Me Omega Sensei today, because I felt the base notes were light enough with just news and stuff, although there are some new servants to talk about. So I added that to the back half just to see, and I think it'll all fit together, so that'll be exciting later after our mailbag break. Actually,
real quick, Omega, did you do finger guns when you did that?
I did not, actually. I just did the face thing. I probably should have.
Yeah. Just...
I was busy scrolling in my notes, so my finger was busy. But, yeah, I think is now the appropriate time to remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by our patrons alike: Adam DeHarp, Omega Comics, Architect 10, Blackest OG, Carlos Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Regent Raptor, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, Some Guy Named Bob, Sodasan 042 723, and Zach Reed. If you like what we do, want to see more, consider subscribing to Patreon. You get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out.
Thank you. I still have no monster.
It's a terrible price to pay. All right. Well, I guess this is the front of the show. We should probably do business time first, even though we decided this business, like, literally 10 minutes ago. But
that's how business do!
People have been asking, so we probably should mention this anyway. Yes, next week there will be a show. Yes, I know we record on Fridays, and Friday is Christmas time. But we've talked about it, and I believe... by the time we usually record in the afternoon, both of us should be free of any plans.
Yeah.
Because, hey, I'm at my own house, and I don't have boatloads of company for once, so... usually we skip a week for the holidays, but this year there's not a huge pressing reason to, and I feel like it's a good timing to get the show in there, because next week I plan on doing the pregame for Sparrow Inn, because that will be a real event that has stuff. So... we will be doing a show next week, and Lucky and I talked about it before we started rolling, and I think we're going to do a live show. We will try and release FGO streaming straight to YouTube, even. So we'll be toying around with that. We'll have a little Christmas special, tuck in, and I guess prepare your questions, because Lucky also said he wants to do unlimited holiday mailbag.
Yes. No matter what we have planned next week, no matter how crazy the news is, next week, we will do a full mailbag. So if any of y'all have been holding on some questions, worried that they aren't going to get in, now is the time to submit them. They will get read.
Yeah. We already did a 5-hour show about Lost Belt, so I don't want to do that intentionally again, but we can if it's just mail, we could probably do the mail before 5 hours.
Yeah, and also, if we make it a live stream, Omega won't kill his computer trying to process.
Yeah, that's also another reason, because Lucky was asking, I was like, well, if we're just throwing it out live right away, then yeah, no, I don't need to make a video version. We'll just do it. It'll be early for once. And of course, you can always listen to us right away when we record, through the power of Patreon. 10 gold level or higher, you can listen live on Discord, where we always record, which we mentioned earlier. Okay, well, with our business time out of the way, it's time to check in with everybody's favorite kohai, Mesh.
Senpai, 起きてください.
Alright, so, this is actually a pro tip. It's not going to sound like a pro tip, but it is actually a tip. But this is written in my notes just as the Scotty conspiracy. But before you treat me as old man yells at Scotty clouds, even though that is soon, I am almost 28, I am definitely getting more crotchety and brain wrinkled in my old age. That's a joke. This has actual merit because it's about the support setup, actually. So, this starts with a story, but dealing with certain builds, I was trying to work on casters, basically. Like, first for one of the story matches, and later because there was an assassin node to farm. And I was astonished, bamboozled, perplexed by the fact that every time I would open up my support setup and tab over to caster, there were 1 to 3 pages worth of Scotties in it. It definitely made me reconsider my thought of just yeeting everybody on my support list who puts a Scotty on friend support, but, at least during the event, on your event setup. But I did not. They at least gave me extra CEs, because I still haven't gotten a drop yet. And yes, that's the way I saw them, because I have mine on CE and servant filter, and I didn't feel like going to just servant, since that's just bonus damage. Anyway, so I was asking this question, I was talking with a lot of people, some back and forth, and several people were like, I'm on your friends list, I don't have a Scotty up right now, why don't you just use mine? And I'm like, I'm not seeing them, I'm buried in a forest of Scotties. So we got to talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, we were talking about it and came up with the idea and confirmed. So, this is the actual tip part. All things being equal, on your support values, FGO apparently, if everything is otherwise equal, sorts by servant number, putting newer servants at the top. So if you sort by level, it will probably show Scotty first, and then Anastasia, right? And this is, I assume this is how it works if they have the same HP or attack values, if you sort that way, because you can sort that way. And some servants do have the exact same max HP and or max attack. Though Scotty has slightly more attack and slightly more HP than Merlin, so she will also show up on top of him. So this is just something to be in mind if you're hunting for specific things in your support setup. Consider changing up what you filter by. I usually do by level, just to get the highest leveled stuff, because, that means Grailed Servants pop to the top. Those are usually pretty worth it. But yeah, this is actually really interesting to figure out. It's why I feel like I'm constantly buried in a forest of Scotty, because she naturally floats to the top, and that's kind of unfortunate. It'll probably be that way for a while. When's our next SSR caster? I don't think it's Castoria.
I think it is.
Is it really 2 years to the next? No, it's Murasaki. What are you talking about, Lucky?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it'll be Murasaki by the next 5-star. I don't know how much I'll see her on support, but
I'm about to say, I'm pretty sure we're still not going to see a lot of Murasaki,
No,
though.
That's fair. But if she is on support, she will show up above Scotty.
Okay.
And I don't want to say that this is necessarily a negative, though at the time I was joking about it being a conspiracy to get you to spend your money on newer units so they show up earlier. You feel tempted. But I think it does help people when newer units are used. And also, I gotta be honest, in terms of generic support on my support list, Castor Artoria is way better than Scotty. I don't think there's a contest there. Her skills are more universally applicable. Scotty only does the Scotty Go Burst stuff when you can do 2 Scotties. Which, by the way, Smooth Brands, you can't do in main story quests or EX matches because you can only have 2 servants. I just had to get that off my chest, guys. I am definitely becoming slightly more crotchety about this. Like, I thought the Save for Jolter memes and the Merlin was kind of annoying. And admittedly, I got those units pretty easily in low quartz values, but I'm not, I don't, freak out and feel forced to use, or felt forced to use Merlin or Jolter for everything, but I don't know why the Scotty Smooth Brain, Scotty has come and smoothed all the wrinkles out in everybody's brains, Lucky, and I don't know why. It's so weird to see this, take off with the meta.
Like I said, this is why, you said you weren't gonna do it. Lucky.
You're actually gonna? Well, Lucky's spicier than me. Lucky absolutely...
Lucky only has, 30 friends, because I yeeted everyone who has... well, not everyone. There is one person, and I literally mean there's one person in my friends list who has a Scotty, and the only reason that they have been yeeted is because they were locked because they're a mod. That's the only reason. I'm still looking at this person going,
Yeah, I threatened this, but also I realized that people I know and am friends with in internet life, but in real life, would put Scotties on support just to fuck with me, and I'm like, I'd stick to my guns and yeet you, but I feel like I'd lose out in the long term, so, cause my friends list will just fill back up. So I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that, but I have seriously considered it. When I have to wade through, 9 or 12 of these to find a caster who's actually fucking relevant, and don't you dare be like, Scotty's always relevant. She's not, fuck you. I understand what you're going for, but no, Scotty is not always relevant. That's not how any servant works. Not even Castor Artoria is always relevant. She's just pretty good. I'd argue probably most to universally relevant are going to be Chen Gong in the future and Arash right now, but even then, Arash sometimes still struggles to pop a Lancer lineup. It's not universal. So, like, yeah, there's a lot of scrolling I had to do.
Yeah, like, again, like, this is why I tell people, I'm not the bestest, I don't have all the metacons, but I have enough servants and I've invested enough that I can usually get through any problems with what I have. I don't need, well, there's an addendum to this. I generally don't need friend support. If I'm grabbing a friend, they're usually in the back row and I've grabbed them because they give me a bonus currency or whatever. I don't bring them for combat support. Now, I said this mindset is slightly fucked me in this event. Well, good on...
yeah, this event, that I think, honestly, that's why I'm so sassy about it in this event, is because this event literally has a mechanic where you get 2 servants, one of whom has to be support.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest, even though she's got all that extra damage, Story Bradamante is a shite support.
She really is. Bradamante, I think you're precious and pure, but Jesus fucking Christ, girl.
She is not ideally suited to every fucking fight. In fact, she is suited to, so far, almost none of the fights.
Shout out to everyone's fucking ruler Marthas, though. They are fucking choice.
Yeah. Heck, in the one match where you, spoilers, can use story support Martha, she's actually better than using Bradamante, and I did.
You know what's crazy?
Spoilers, guys. Ruler Martha's kicking ass this event. I love mine. It's great. Fucking A, dudes. Oh, actually, wait. I was thinking about this. We should probably move into Records from the Throne really quick. I actually should have noted this. So, I have protected Mothman's Smile. Thank you, 3 EXPs. And I have protected Samba Queztmas Smile. Thank you, double EXP. Double EXP for welfares is a hell of a drug, guys. It's nuts. I think this is the first time I've so fast leveled welfare. Like, even with bonus EXPs, it's like so fast. Oh my god.
It's a weird feeling. It's all like every success is a super success. I'm just all like, this does not compute.
Yeah, it's so fast. Actually, for the longest time, I probably would have done it day 1, but I was towel blocked, basically. I was lotto blocked because there were not good lotto nodes for the first couple of nights. So it was really slow going to do my roll and actually get through those lottos.
Lucky is super behind. I'm only at 2 boxes.
I am at about 8 currently, but I'm also farming right now. Because it's a Berserker node and I can double Hokusai this shit.
Oh, is the fucking Berserker node the fucking lotto node?
Yeah, well, it's the latest node, so it's the classic thing where every tier is more and more lotto drops until it turns into a node that is nothing but lotto drops.
Oh, well.
No, I do not have a CE drop, Chief. I am not Vesper, who's gotten 3.
No, yeah, I haven't done that one yet because I've been working through my fucking currency drops to try and get the fucking CEs.
Yeah, fair. I did that earlier. I have gotten all CEs and all command codes.
I still think I need like another 3.
By the way, these command codes are pretty sick. I think one of them is just plus 1,000 damage.
Wild.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff in here. Anyway, I didn't actually put this in my notes because I did a single 10 roll. Lucky did a single 10 roll. I got like dick all, except I did actually get NP2 Rider Martha. That's not amazing, but nothing new. Like I'm pretty sure I got my extra copy of the 3-star CE off a weekly ticket, and I have gotten nothing else out of that yet.
Yeah, I did a single 10 spin. Not because I'm not going to be burning my soul's fire, but I am going to make a modest effort in a couple days on the all rate up, which is going to be Cats, Bradamante, and both Marthas, because I've decided that more Martha MPs, like, I'm not gonna be upset about them. This might be the only event where she gets this mad ass bonus damage, but I will remember it fondly.
Well, it's funny you say that, Lucky. It's funny that comes up. I'd love to move right into the news with that pitch-perfect segue Lucky has handed me, but first we should burn through really quick. Did you finish your master missions? Which, yes, thank you, me. I actually did just now. While Lucky was doing the intro, I did my 30 FP rolls. So that's number 1. Do 30 FP summons. You need to defeat 3 good servants. You need to defeat 3 evil servants. You need to defeat 20 enemies, not servants or bosses. Defeat 40 enemies, not servants or bosses, and complete 10 quests. So do the event. Yes, Vesper, I know. I'm gonna use it as the video background. You made a meme. It's great.
What?
Vesper made a meme. You now have to scroll up to see it because people have yelled about it existing more than it has existed. It's great. I'll put it in the video though. But okay. With Master Missions blitzed, let's move into that news. All right. So, with a brief technical check out of the way, first up, NA. Yes, there's still NA news.
Ta-da.
The Case Files Blu-ray commemoration. It's going from the 14th until the 18th of this month. You log in for 4 days, you get 3 Saint Courts and a commemorative CE. So in JP, this was originally a quest, but it used gray, so can't do that.
I'm surprised that they gave it now. The collab is only like a few months away.
I mean, yeah, but it was technically to celebrate the anime being released, which it was differential to when they released the collab, so...
I guess that's true.
They are technically separate inserts, and this is the Blu-ray release, so here's the time, right?
Wait, didn't they, if I remember correctly, didn't the collab come out before the actual anime aired?
It did, actually, which was flabbergasting to me.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Fate truly gives no fucks about its own spoilers. I'm actually quite happy that the anime had a chance to come out before the collab comes out in English.
That gunfire is real loud. That might pick up. I'm like, where's my volume control?
It picked up only slightly because you were speaking.
Yeah.
But it might still be picked up. Okay. So this was, I do believe this one, this was a fake out that got a couple of people. But first up in JP, Interlude Campaign 15, going from the 14th until the 21st. Still not Christmas. During this duration, there will be half AP interludes. There is Saint Court's interludes for Dioscuri, Seishanagon, Paris, Romulus Quirinus, and Bartholomew. Bart. There is an NP interlude for Old Man Assassin Lee. This increases his damage and ups his instant kill chance. His NP now has a 150% chance to instantly kill, which is pretty good as far as instant death chances go. I think even one of his skills even makes him better at that. And also, Estrella got an NP interlude. It augments her damage and also gives her Pierce Invincible. It's only one turn, but still, that's great. That's a single target piercing NP that does bonus damage to evil servants. I guess they realized that this permanent ruler wasn't doing enough. So, that's pretty sick. A lot of fun. But then, they actually announced Christmas 2020, The Road to Santa, starting on the 16th, ending on the 30th, so it will end right away as they switch into whatever they're doing for New Year's. I expect there will not probably be a New Year's event again this year, because they have crammed so much content into December, but it looks like it's a pretty standard Xmas Formula Lotto. You need to get Santa Karna Saber, or actually, Santa, because they're doing that joke again. They really like to do weird things with Santa, probably because it's not literally a Japanese word, but it's got all the constructions of being one, so you can do lots of dumb puns.
Mm-hmm.
So, the bonus servants for this event, just to read this out for everybody, is the Arjunas, all previous Santas, I double-checked, Karna, obviously, Parvati, Georgios, Beowulf, the Marthas, which includes a damage bonus, by the way.
Oh.
Mash, Sigurd, Mordred, Siegfried, Ashvathaman, Liz, just normal Liz, by the way, which sucks, because Sieg's on here, too, and a couple of other welfares, so I feel like they could have put Brave Liz and Caster Liz on here, but whatever. Just break my heart. Lamdarillis, Red Hair, Scotty. See, this is an event where you can put Scotty on your support setup. She's actually a bonus servant.
It works. Not get mad at that.
Sieg, I mentioned before, Rhyme, Osakaba Hime, Kama, Chiome, Kiyohime, and Hokusai. Not a lot of low-rarity servants, but a lot of welfares. I believe the basic theme here is, are you Indian, a dragon, or a dragon slayer?
Yeah, no, that seems about right.
Or are you dragon or dragon accessories? As one might theorize, with, say, Chiome in there. So, this comes with a sick new animation update for George.
Sick, actually, I haven't seen it.
I don't think I've seen a lot of it, but I've seen, like, his new NP and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a good look. And a rank up for Beowulf. That's right, Beowulf got a second rank up. Apparently he wasn't cool enough as a 4-star berserker. His Batcon now has -1 cooldown, which is pretty great, and it gives him 30 to 50% crit up for 3 turns, which is very spicy, and also gives him 3 turns of 30 to 50% trait damage versus dragons and versus giants. These are separate buffs. So now he is the dragon killing man. He is the dragon puncher. Because, guys, most dragons are large.
Oh.
Also, if hypothetically you were having a problem beating any fights that may have involved Ibuki in Lost Belt 5.5, she is large and a dragon, so there you go, have fun. I think somebody in chat, in the Discord chat earlier this week asked why Ibuki Doji doesn't count as a child, and I'm like, okay, First Ascension, sure, but have you seen the next two? She's huge. Now, I'd love if FGO could code it so that her little form is child and her big form is large, but that would probably get too weirdly meta-abusable and be a pain in the dick, so they don't do that. No, she's just large. Well, yeah. I mean, Kama has multi-state, but also Kama's weird. I feel like by default they portray Servant Kama as little Sakura form. Even though if I were to get a Kama, I would immediately take that to big and just leave that there. But yeah, so Beowulf is now. I mean, Herc just got a buff, so I don't, and he's a launch servant with bonus campaigns. I don't know if I want to say Beowulf is quote unquote better than Herc, but as a man who has a lot of NPs on a Beowulf and a lot of NPs on Herc, they're both pretty good. Beowulf definitely has a pure damage output. Well, it's true. Kama is a Sakura period. It would be who does Ilya think? I think we've discussed this. At the moment, the child trait for her buff seems to be who does Ilya think as a child. I don't know if Ilya would think of Ibuki Doji as a child.
No.
Especially when I believe in both forms she tries to project big sis energy. Also, so the summon banner is a new permanent Lancer, Vritra.
Yes. Yes!
Summer Martha's also getting a raid up, by the way, which answers a question in, I think, the comments of last week's show. Is this Summer Martha's last raid up? It is not, apparently, guys. Oh, and Beowulf. Yay! Plus some new CEs. Actually, it reminds me, Lucky, have you seen the special store CE?
I saw the Sakura one.
Yeah, that's the store one.
Yeah! It's so good. I love it.
Very high detail on that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The banner CEs are more loosely event related, though the 3-star one does involve Bishi Georgios, and it's got a lot of people on tilt because it's one of those classic CE glow ups. Not that George looks bad, but he's a pretty average looking gonk. And then there's this.
We got the full glitz, full preem.
Yeah, and that's the 3-star, so you have a decent chance of getting that. There's also a Dioscuri 5-star CE and an Ashvataman, I assume Rama, because one ponytail, and Ganesha CE. Oh, huh. Jinako actually stepped foot in the gym. There are a lot of jokes about boxing Karna, by the way.
Of course there are.
Because
I know nothing about him, and I made one.
It's great. I love him. Hey, guys, you got a male Santa.
I'm excited.
Nah, he's pretty cool. Okay, well, that's all our news, so... let's see. How long did we put on the mission clock? About 25 minutes. That's it. That's a robust number. I believe it will be time to go ahead and power on in to our mailbag.
Oh, now Lucky has to put down the controller. He'll pick up his phone.
In the future, Lucky, we won't need controllers.
Yeah, no, we'll just do fucking brain dances, I guess.
Well, I mean, the beauty of Cyberpunk is that in your default cyberware, because you start with a deck, is you just have a fucking coax cable in your fucking wrist.
Yeah, actually, but that's the funny thing. I still see people fucking... I don't know if they're playing on phones or playing on something. Oh my god, that George is fucking Bishi. What the actual fuck?
Yeah,
how dare?
No.
How dare?
I don't know how this happened, but it did.
Excuse you, costume now. Give this man... Actually, I think a photographer George would be a great costume.
Yeah, casual George with a ponytail. That'd be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He's a cool guy.
Give me SR photographer Georgius.
That could be do a summer George.
That'd be great.
We're doing male event servants now. Alternatively, that could just be the summer costume. But we'll see how that turns out next year.
Yep. So, alright. Alright, everyone. It is time. Everyone sit down, relax, jack in. We are about to do this week's Let's Talk FGO Mailbag. The segment, where we read comments aloud from you, remark upon them, answer of them, be confused about them, and sometimes just throw them out the fucking window. Good times. Today, since we have a loaded back cap, we're only going to be going with 1 hour, unfortunately. But as we said at the top of the show, if your answer doesn't make the cut this time, please submit it again, because next week it will get read. Words.
Well, if you submit it, it'll be written, and then it'll be read.
Both of those words, I guess. Anyway, so let us get started. The timer starts now. Our first one comes from Secret Casino Kung Bumbun, who says, "Merry Christmas! You're early!
I don't think people understand. In this house, you can't play Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. Don't sell me a fucking Santa before Halloween. I'll kill you.
But thank you very much. This next one comes from... It was me! I am the one that steals February 30th and 31st from the calendars. That's a heinous crime. And they say, Dear Lucky and Omega, why is it that a lot of gacha game stories always seem to have a rough start in the beginning? Because it's the fucking beginning.
Well, yeah, I'm going to say, there's two ways we can interpret this. Is this a Doyleist question or a Watsonian question? Are you talking about the internal story or the external story? I think most launches are rough because new games are new.
New games are new.
Unfortunately, ongoing service games are almost made to be beta-y, right? Like, you can't know how it's going to work until you release it to 5 million people or whatever.
Yeah, and they broke it.
Didn't FGO have like 3 million downloads right out the gate? That was the Gil thing?
Yeah, it was 3 and you don't know what's going to break until it's in the hands of fucking everybody.
Mm.
Or things won't work as intended, or things worked in a different way than I was expected. As
for why internal stories are rough, I think Lucky said it best. It's the beginning. You have to have a call to adventure. Like,
yes.
Especially because in a lot of these gacha-style games, you're collecting units, right? Collecting whatever. Mm-hmm. You have to start with basically nothing and have a reason to get more powerful, right? Or continue the story.
Here's a fun factoid. Evil people can exist without good people, but good people cannot exist without evil people.
And protagonists can't exist without conflict.
Exactly.
It's
actually you said it. Yeah. I think you said it better.
Yeah.
But
technically a protagonist can exist without an antagonist, but that's only if the case of where the conflict is. That's one of those things of like, what's your central conflict? Man v man v self, man v nature. Like, in man v nature, nature's not really an antagonist, but there's still conflict. You need fundamental conflict to have a story, so.
Yes. But yeah, there you go. I hope we answered your question. We're gonna keep going. So thank you very much. This next one comes from putting in extra effort into this name. Who says, Heyo, just a small question between a lot of madness. What are your thoughts about a Hakunon pseudo-servant? No specifics, just a general idea. Hope you had a good week and did not already suffer a lot of burnout. Actually, I think I mentioned this like a month or two ago. If there was to be a Hakunon pseudo-servant, I want him to be Tsukiyomi.
That could be interesting. There's also... So I haven't played Extra yet, but I believe it's a joke in the original where you can introduce yourself as Francis Xavier, who is a Catholic missionary and saint. So a lot of people joke about that pseudo-servant. I don't actually know if they do that, but that is a thing that is from Extra. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's because Xavier brought Catholicism to Japan. Okay, that makes sense. Did not know that. Okay. So, yeah, like, there's some... That's a funny joke, but I like Lucky's idea too. Because that would... I believe that that's the way we're going to dodge some of the classic shipping questions. Like, we're probably going to get Muramasa eventually, but Muramasa will be in the driver's seat, so we don't need to worry about Shiro stealing your girl, right?
Mm, yeah.
It would be similar with units like Tamamo and Nero, and it would be like, that face is familiar, but if somebody else is in the pilot seat, it's not the same thing.
Mm. Also, fucking Tsukiyomi and Amaterasu are not on the best of terms, so...
No.
They're not divorced, but...
It'd be very interesting. Though I had another great thought. I should introduce Lucky to this.
I'm waiting.
So, we were yakking about mats in the Let's Talk chat, because everybody has their complaints about mats, and some of them are very justified. Bronze mats costs are ridiculous. But somebody brought up that Tamamo needs like 60 bones, right? Per skill, I think. And I was reminded that, oh yeah, Tamamo calls herself a jackal, so that's actually pretty funny. If someone would please give me some art of Tamamo being caught chewing a bone. Because, yeah, she says she's a jackal, not a fox. I gotta be honest at this point, Lucky, I don't know if that's her trying to pretend she's not a fox, or if she's literally a jackal, and Nasu's joke is that people are just dumb. I legit don't know anymore.
I don't know. I just know she has furry ears, fluffy tails, and... Actually, what do jackal tails look like? Hang the fuck on a second here. Actually, no, they're kind of fluffy.
Jackal, it's a jackal. Yeah. Yeah, jackals have a bushy tail. I mean, it doesn't look like a foxtail, but they do have bushy tails.
I'm sorry. I gotta post this because this is the face of. Oh no! Hang on. I need this picture. Hang on. No. This is the face of judgment.
Jackal judges you.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I wish we knew more fan artists. I bet somebody could.
Oh, look, there is art.
Oh, there's a little art. That's more adorable, but yeah, that's referencing how everybody just eats fucking bones. But if we knew more established artists, no knocks on Lucky, but he admits he's not the best about working his craft of art.
No.
But if we knew some people who would just, I'd love to get somebody to just smack out a Tamamo face of judgment. You've got a reference right there. It's great. Okay, let's not spend too much time thinking about the Tamamo of judgment.
That's shit. Now I just need to. Oh god, I know that scene. I remember that scene well. How dare you? Now you're just fucking with me. Moving on. So thank you very much. This next one comes from Send Me to Suplex City, Big Sis Bradamante and Quetzalcoatl. And they say, just a random question, what servant would you like to have as a sibling? As a sibling.
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
Like, does age matter? Can there be an older sibling?
Yeah, I can be an older sibling. That seems fine. Because that's actually a legit debate, because I am a youngest child, so I'm wondering, would I want to take someone as a younger sibling, or would I just be content in my pre-established familial roles and be like, I could use a new older sibling?
Yeah. Well, let me go back both ways. Who would I like?
Because there are certainly lots of cool servants. They're cool.
Mm-hmm. But who do I want in the familial unit? That's the question.
Like, I don't know if that actually works out age-wise, but I think it would be interesting to have, like, Kentoki as your Aniki. That could be fun.
That'd be pretty wild.
He slots right in.
Mm-hmm. I think Karna would be a great big bro.
Karna definitely has big bro vibes.
He'd just be that silent one that just, doesn't say anything but just hands you a fucking pudding, walks off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's aloof, but he's cool.
Mm-hmm. He cares, but it doesn't show on his face.
Can I do a weird retro thing and say, what if I just get married to Mordred and then I get 5 siblings or 4? Just get them all in there. Get Gawain and Law and Agravain and Gareth and Gaheris. Get everybody in there.
That'd be powerful. Like, honestly, that says something.
By the way, guys, I'm still trying to form my Super Sentai team. I'm really hoping that soon they actually release an Agravain playable unit and give Gaheris a fucking design. It's really easy. He's supposed to be Gareth's twin. Just draw Gareth, but less of a girl.
For Big Sis, normally I'd say Boudica, but trust me, it's hard for me just to think of Boudica as just a Big Sis.
Oh yeah, no, like there were a lot of people I had to scratch off my list because I'm like, but also, but someone I think fits the bill fairly. No, like, no, not Quetzalcoatl. I call her Big Sis Quetz, but please crush me between those thighs. But no, someone who I still like, who think feel is Nezha. Nezha is very nice. A little weird. I would definitely like her as a Big Sis. I mean, I believe one of the authorities Prince Nezha is supposed to have is a guardian deity of young men. So
yeah, perfect then. For youngers,
and there's some interesting switch hitters, like, because he's experienced Sieg could actually be both ends. You could adopt a Sieg.
If I was gonna have a younger sister, though, probably Lolly Da Vinci. I just want a young, genius, sassy little sister.
Oh yeah, no, that's you're a fucking Disney Channel original show. She's a preteen genius. He's just some guy on the internet. Together, they fight crimes. Or they cause crimes that they then fight. Coming this summer.
Like I said,
I think Altera Larva is my child.
Yes. No, that is your daughter.
Must protect.
Yeah, like, that's why I don't say, like, nursery rhyme. I mean, nursery, like, Jack and all them. No, these are my precious children. Like this is specifically sibling. Who would I like as a? Actually, there's not a lot of little brother contenders. You really only have like Kid, Gil, and Alexander, and cool they are. I don't know if I want them as my little brother.
Here's a good question. Nemo, do you have the child trait? Does Ilya think of you as a child? Probably not wearing those heels. Jesus. By the way, yeah, I just realized because I'm looking at his art right now, Nemo is wearing some very sharp heels. I could actually check who is on the child list. I mean, technically, I believe Summer Ilya thinks of Asterios as a child.
I can see it. He is very innocent. Oh, wait. No, that's fair. Little brother Asterios. He is a good fluffy boy.
By the way, speaking of waiting on characters, waiting on his younger sister, Ariadne, that would be an interesting one. Because she got dumped by Theseus and got to marry Dionysus. I am sure fate could do some weird shit with that one.
Oh, man, Dionysus.
Honestly, I'm also not entirely convinced that Dionysus couldn't be a servant either, because he was deified as a,
he was immortal.
human. He was immortal first, and in some myths, his mother dies, and he is also going to die, but is then resurrected. Like, the people know the main character from Hades. It's Zagreus, I think, is the way it's spelled.
Zagreus.
Yeah. There's some mythological theories that, because in case you didn't know, Zagreus is not a super popular. He is not made up, but those myths are not super popular. Dionysus may have absorbed some of his myths about being, the child of Persephone and coming back to life and stuff like that.
They make a joke about this in game.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm also not entirely unconvinced that, similar to how Herc is, a high-level divinity servant, that if they wanted to put some more Olympians in, Dionysus couldn't compact himself down into a mortal form and, have some fun. And he would be all kinds of fun. 5-star Berserker Dionysus win. Anyway, let's keep moving on.
And let's keep moving on. So thank you very much. Hope that was enlightening for you. This next one comes from Shion, who says, "Greeting, StudiOmega. Hope all is well in your worlds. My question this week is, with the weather being colder and the need for warmth more necessary, who at Chaldea would make the best barista?"
I mean, Emiya's got artistic talent. This is known.
I would also like to throw Paracelsus in the ring. That man looks like a man
with P. You gotta be careful. He might try and serve you an iced coffee with ice made of void dust.
Yeah, but it looked real good, I bet.
Oh yeah, no, he's that bartender or barista or whatever who's serving you, a fucking nuclear glowing drink, right?
Yeah, like, I think of that because of his Valentine's, where he literally makes you like some cookies out of like elemental powder, and you're just like, what?
Oh, I thought of an obvious one. It's because he's not released yet. We didn't think of him. But Paris is literally a younger brother, and is incredibly little in servant form.
That is
because
true.
Apollo likes him young, guys.
Yeah, Apollo's a little bit of a fuckboy.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of funny that Paris is almost deliberately made to mirror quote unquote Orion, because in that form Artemis is she's so unconvinced that Orion can do his job that she hijacked the Saint Graph and like pushed him into a tiny corner. But with Paris, Apollo is just, "Hey, I'm just a sheep. I'm here. Hi, what's up?" Just hanging out with his Shota.
It's like, I'm fluffy. I was looking up something and I totally forgot what the hell it was.
Okay, that's wild. Ilya, what's wrong with you? Van Gogh counts as a child. I know she's skinny, but have you seen Ascensions 2 and 3, Ilya?
Actually, I haven't. Hang on here.
Being a foreigner, Van Gogh gets freaky deaky once you start sending that Saint Graph.
Well, I'm definitely going to be throwing down for fucking... Oh, I see. Yeah, no, that's freaky deaky. That's some inverse there.
But you are correct. I do believe, other than Hans, who obviously you don't think of Hans as a younger sibling. Hans would not be a barista. Hans would be constantly in the coffee shop.
Mm.
But I do believe that the only males on this child list are Kid Gil, Alex, Paris, Hans, Asterios. Oh wait, no, Voyager's there too. That's right. Voyager's newer though.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about baristas. Oh yeah, I was gonna look at Paracelsus' fucking Valentine's CE.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking about. There we go. Paracelsus von Hohenheim. Scroll down. Craft essences. Someday I can see the illusion. That's what it's called. Ah, yes, Valentine's return gift from Paracelsus. A few baked goods on an elegant dish. On the side, there's a teacup with freshly brewed tea. When you look closer, the colors of the baked goods seem to represent the 5 elements that he regularly controls. How do they taste? How do baked goods and the colors of ether taste?
That's a question I don't have the answer to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
So,
that's fair.
Let's see, who else is probably a bit of a magician in the kitchen?
I mean, Da Vinci is a Renaissance man. And definitely has the fine art skills, but also Da Vinci would absolutely do it once and then build a fucking machine.
Sorry, Lucky is literally just scrolling through servants and thinking, because that's how he do.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, all I can really think is Emiya. We have a lot of chef types. We know Raiko can cook, we know Boudica can cook, we know Tamakat can cook. But best is something.
Yeah.
Especially when you go in barista, which is specifically the art of, coffee and tea making.
Yeah, you gotta brew.
Actually, what is the brew? What does barista mean? What is the definition of a barista? It's one of those words where I know the meaning of.
Yes, we know what the modern meaning is, but much like I did with Homunculus, I wanted to double check what it actually meant, because that might actually be relevant.
Let's see. According to the Standard Dictionary,
check
barista.
The Valentine's chocolate list. No, that was a alcoholic candy. I'm double checking because I'm pretty sure we get some. Oh, doesn't? Yeah, Liberation Zocoatl. Ket serves you a mug of a hot chocolate drink, hot cacao.
See, that's pretty powerful. I'm not gonna lie. Especially in this cold weather. Jesus fucking Christ! I need to get me some. No, I can't drink alcohol anymore. No. Oh man, one of my favorite winter drink is literally hot chocolate with Baelish Irish cream in it.
Oh my! Well, I think there's I think we have a legit contender in terms of actually producing.
Oh.
Would you like to guess whose this is? I've posted it for patrons. That is Summer Martha's.
Oh.
And I mean literally MHXA's is Spacebucks, but she might have just bought that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she says it. That's right. She just bought it from Spacebucks. Who does Spacebucks employ? Who knows?
Clearly Chief Red.
Yeah. It's always... Man, that time is almost upon us. I still need to... Nobody's told me yet if 2 gigs is enough. I still need to be prepped to buy a phone fast. But Valentine's is always a great time to think about all that stuff, because there's a few different themes of what kind of stuff you get, but it's always really interesting to see.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I accidentally just closed the timer. Good job, Lucky. Good fucking job.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Sanson actually serves you a health drink that is... I don't know if it's coffee-based, but it's similar.
I'll put it at 45. Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, I think we've done maybe 30-ish, but there was some faffing. We probably should have paused it a couple times in there. We were doing research.
Okay, then I'll put it at 40 then. 40-minute timer. Go! Yay, okay, now we going again. Alright, so thank you very much for your question. This next one comes from The Eternal Storm. And they say, hey guys, really enjoy this channel. Been playing FGOs since September of 2019. Here's my question. Conceptually, what extra class do you like the most? Again, thank you for your time and wish you well for the holidays and New Year's. Guys, we're gonna be recording on those fucking holidays. You can tell us then. Heckity heck. Anyway, actually, I guess, I don't know if it's actually, I guess technically it's a fucking extra class on the most technical level. Beast class. That's my answer. I love the beasts.
So it's an interesting one, because there's a lot of weirdness. Conceptually, I think I gotta go with, though, just because I'm me, I gotta go with the way they've used foreigners so far. Foreigners are really interesting, and just
powerful. The
idea of being like, nah, bro, I'm from space.
I'm connected in ways you can't even imagine!
Like,
literally.
That's in my personal appeal zone, and I'm sure it was to, like, Nasu and some of the other writers anyway, but, it's still cool to actually, like, let them get that out there and have it work.
It's great. So, thank you very much. Well, I guess I should explain my reasoning a little bit now I think about it. I like Base because I actually really like the concept of an evil that is meant to be destroyed. I find that fascinating on a... I don't want to say necessarily anthropology
philosophical?
level. Yeah, I guess philosophical is the best way to put it. Just with how humans are and how humans behave and a general consciousness, the beasts I find are fascinating as it demonstrates a very severe love-hate relationship with humanity and highlights, our greatest glories, but yes, at the same time, our deepest madnesses. So I like duality. I like things of dual natures like that, and Beastars definitely feel that to me. But yes, we're gonna move on. So thank you very much. This next one Moon is freaking out over fucking first ever male servant and FGO, and oh my god, it's Karna. They say, happy holidays. I don't really have a question today, but I hope you're enjoying Samba Santa event as much as I am. It was good. We're going to talk about it here in a bit.
Yep.
So stay tuned. So thank you very much. We move on to Karna is now a Santo, and Paco, is a mad lad.
That's right. Paco got to draw his Santa.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good. Question: how you feel about Karna breaking trends? Anyway, have a good week. Meh? I know for the first 4 years we've only had females, but at the same time,
I mean, yeah, it's just what's a good character to do work with. Karna's a good choice. Like they already gave him some action at the no, that would be 2 years ago now, almost, because we're about to get that event with Lost Belt. But that was also, like a year ago from JP's perspective, over a year at this point. It's it's an interesting design. It does. I think with seasonal welfares, they know they can be a little goofier, so they can do the pun. He's a boxer. He punches. He's a kenshi, a warrior with his fist. Isn't that right? Because in case you guys don't know, I can explain the pun now. You can pronounce the word for fist and sword the same way, ken and ken. Because in Japanese, there's a lot of different words for sword.
Yes, there's a lot. But
yeah, it's a pun. So he's a saber because he is a fighter with ken. Also, he does kind of wield his punching bag like a sword, but that's a different joke. But no, I think the way to think of it this way is that the traditions, the trends of FGO are good as a previous reference, right? Like, we can look at previous events and go, okay, Lost Boat 5.5, for instance, this is a story release, a main story release. There will probably be 2 banners. That's usually how those go. If there's not 2 banners, that's unusual. There's 2 weeks left in this month. There will probably be a Christmas. It'll involve a welfare and a new servant. But that's mostly just for prediction. I don't think that these are like inviolable traditions that have to stand. It's just that these are the things you can come to expect. And I mean, it's interesting because there was definitely a semi-theme going on where, like, first Christmas was Santa Altar, Saber Altar Santa. Next was Jean, then was Altera, right? And that was, the servants anyway, was Fuyuki Orleans Septum, even though the event with the Septum character was a literal direct line follow-up in plot terms to Babylonia.
Wild.
Yeah, it's interesting how that works out. Then we are in Samba, which is a Babylonia character, who was technically an antagonist. Not permanently, but she was one of the first couple big enemies we had to defeat, like second after, I guess, Gorgon? Yeah, I don't think Gilgamesh dies until after we come back from Ketz's place. I think. It's been a while since I double-checked. Right? And then they kind of went, so that was out of order, and then they went to the next Christmas, which was America with Nightingale, but Karna was also in America, but he was also in Lost Boat, so Karna's been in a lot, so it's interesting to see that. It means that it's kind of more open season on who can be Santa in the future, but I mean, that's okay if they're creative with it. It's just, like I said at the start of this sentence, or this segment, that just means it's harder for us to make predictions, to make reasonable, informed guesses. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just different.
I like surprises. Okay, but that is that. So, thank you very much. This next one, this is 2 paragraphs.
Yeah.
This next one comes from a hunter trying to solve a time anomaly. And they say, so hey, Lucky Omega, hope recently me and some friends were discussing Stormman for Part 1 and, Gil's statement about how we save Babylonia matter and that when time fixes itself, those who died will die from different reasons than Tiamat and Lamu. So the following question came to, sorry if it's a bit much, I found it an interesting discussion point. The given scenario is that person I dies during the events of Babylonia, but in the normal history, person A lives 20 more years and lives to have 2 children. These children allowed for the family line to continue to present day, and over time there's been 10,000 of tree. So due to person A dying in Babylonian early descendant, what happens to those thousands of people? Do they merely not exist anymore? Does time fix as though they're born to somewhere else? Most importantly, what is your take on it? You're thinking way too hard about this, my dude.
Yeah, there's a two-step point. One, you're actually wrong, and technically Gil is wrong. He says that people who were destroyed by all that were, but it's shown in later interludes they're not actually, because Tiamat as a beast and the Lahumu are so absurdly out of spec for history. A lot of those people are still alive once the singularity got repaired, because there's no reasonable excuse for how that should have happened. Like, Tiamat comes out of the fucking imaginary sea and assaults Mesopotamia. The world is like, that's not alright. That's not how that works. Like, it is literally alluded to in an interlude that, she's shown in shadow, but it's shown that Siduri is still alive. So, like, so, there's your first bullet point down. In simple, your scenario doesn't actually happen because it was later established that actually, because Babylonia was so fucking weird, some of that damage was unfucked. The second point, though, is that just because those people die, that's established way back in Orleans that people still die, they're not necessarily dying of the same thing. People who are burned to death by dragons are probably killed by plague or falling down a well or something.
They still die at the same point.
Yes.
There is no, they go on to live.
Yeah, like there's no error. And if you want to be like, but does that mean that if those people before the error were fixed, time doesn't work like that.
No.
Time is a tree, but singularities are single points that are then unfucked. So the tree continues. Yes. And quite frankly, for individual humans, the tree doesn't give a fuck if 1,000 of us are dead.
Nah.
And actually, I do believe it is established that for the most part, the core, the trunk of the tree is full of timelines that are all really, really similar to each other. Which means that, unfortunately, there's no singularly amazing people in them. Like, if Ben Franklin accidentally gets yeeted from a timeline, there will be another guy who does all the Ben Franklin things you care about, right? Yeah. This is actually, we played the trolley game last night. Lucky's internet unfortunately exploded before he could get on this. You would have found certain hands very funny. But at one point there was a thing about, will you run the trolley over and hit the founding fathers of America? In terms of the quantum time lock and the pruning phenomena, that doesn't matter. There will still be founding fathers, they just be different people. Because there are a lot of timelines that are very functionally similar, but a lot of the character stories we know are different because those people have died or not. Like, think about this, right? In terms of the Tree of Time, the Prisma timeline and the Fate's Day Night timeline are both allowed, even though, I'm pretty sure Kiritsugu probably bodied at least dozens, if not hundreds of Einsburns, right? By himself. We don't know how big he went, but he went a little big, right?
He's gonna protect his wife and daughter, fuck y'all.
Both those timelines are perfectly functional and at no point have even been considered being deleted. Miyu's timeline, which is way more fucked up than probably either of those timelines for reasons, is also still allowed because it hasn't borked yet. It's in the process of borking, but it's not borked yet. So the time tree's very wiggly, okay, is I think how I want to solve that. So the short version is what Lucky said. You're thinking about it too hard. FGO is weird. It's not a time travel story in the traditional sense. It doesn't give a fuck about the time travel. That's just an excuse so you go to historical places.
Okay, but we gotta move on.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so thank you very much for the question. We next move on to Gahulian God. Says, pre-Merry Christmas. As for my question, since in the event's Kesai she would ally with any other luchador or luchadora if we never met Bradamante, but instead a male partner for Kets, who do you think make the ideal male personality-wise? It could be an entirely new male servant introduced for this event, like Bradamante, or a pre-established 4 or below male servant who could receive the Astolfo treatment promoted to 5-star status. Why do you have to add these qualifiers?
There's too many. That's way too many rules, man.
P.S. It is pure coincidence that Kets and Mark are both writers and that have seasonal ruler forms, who change tactics to punching people instead of their presented weapon, who also have their MP type switch when change. Martha to AoE to ST and Kets vice versa.
I mean, for your PS, it's probably not purely coincidence. After all, they do make. I mean, this was posted 20 hours ago. At least according to YouTube. They referenced this in the event, like literal spoilers, but literally. I mean, it's a daily story. I hope to gosh you guys are caught up. But literally, Ketz is still poisoned from a match, so Martha puts on her mask, and one, it's because of the kayfabe. She's a matched luchador, so nobody can tell the difference. It's not like that's the first rule that got broken in this clown car of a tournament, but they explicitly point out how their abilities and mannerisms are actually quite similar in their ruler forms. So, no, it's probably not a pure coincidence, no. For your second thing, I don't fucking know. Who's a wrestler? Let's do, Lucky, I'm just gonna say, let's do 5-star, Chiron mask. Pancration!
Oh. 5-star Chiron. Let me. That is true. Let me scroll through my head here real quick.
Activating brain scroll.
Yep, activating brain scroll.
This is where we play the universal cyberpunk loading bar noise.
God.
Because there's a sound effect for every bar, whether you're uploading or downloading. Or scanning. Anything really. Just if you do a thing and a bar moves, it makes the same noise. That's a consistent UI, kids.
Yeah, look, I can't think of anything.
Okay. I think we're gonna talk about this later when we talk about our first impressions, but I don't think either of us are big wrestling guys.
Like, I mean, I used to be, like, when I was younger, I used to watch, like, SmackDown and Raw all the fucking time. I was thinking about it earlier today, but, like, honestly, we don't have, like, a lot of, like, adding, like, a wrestler, like, motif to a lot of these characters, I'm just like, especially specifically to a male.
I mean, there are, like I said, there are established people who have some wrestling or martial arts knowledge, some background, but it's not quite the same.
Like, I was thinking, Ku, and I was like, no, not Ku. I'm thinking, like, then, like, fucking, do we just gonna go Achilles? I was like, no, too fucking easy. It's like, because here's the thing, you can't just, like, switch them over, and, like, here's the thing, you can't just have the most plainly obvious choice. That kind of, for me, personally, that kind of ruins the fun. You want someone doing something a little wild and different. That's why, honestly, why I love Martha's character so much is she's usually trying to be this, this prim and proper saint who doesn't swear and punch things really hard. But then once in a while, she just motherfucking cracks nuts, and you're like, oh no.
Martha is just constantly suppressing her delinquent powers.
Really, really is. Like, honestly, like, I think, I
mean, Santa Island Mask wears a mask, but that's more of like a tuxedo mask thing. Like, he's a male magical girl, basically.
Mm-hmm. He fucking throws a rose, guys. Like, the first two that come off to mind is, actually would probably be Spartacus and Hercules, because, Spartacus is a fucking gladiator, and
absolutely has a big boy wrestler physique, yes.
Yes. But I said, we just got a lot of Spartacus action back and lost belts. I'm just like, no, that's too soon. And Herc literally fucking choked out a fucking lion. Wrestled that thing because no weapon can fucking hurt it. Yeah, no, he can fucking wrestle, but it's also fucking Herc. I'm just like, I'm like, yes, but no.
I wonder if we could get Baby Herc. Like, before he super hulked out.
Actually, no. I know who I'm gonna say. Who I'm gonna say? Fucking Kentucky. Kentucky would be fucking Ketz's probably ideal male, ideal partner.
Golden.
Yes,
Electric Gold Thunder Mask.
I think Kentucky wrestled a bear. I think.
Yes, Kentucky wrestles bears.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. I couldn't, like I said, Lucky's memory is shit. Sometimes he has problems remembering his legends. So,
I mean, we're talking about male characters, but yes, Nero does claim to have wrestled lions naked in the Colosseum as well.
Listen, Nero claims a lot of shit.
And to be fair, I do believe she claims that while you're in my room in Extella or Extra, which is absolutely when she's fucking hating on you. So,
So yeah, no, I'm gonna put Kentucky down on there because 1, he's fucking huge. 2, he has the personality, and I guarantee this would be coming down in the fucking ring with the intro and just this completely golden robe just fucking fireworks blasting down the goddamn sides.
Golden coins would rain down.
Mm-hmm. And 3, he does actually have a legend about, wrestling bears and stuff. So, that's my pick.
There is also a joke class about Grappler. I say a joke because it was fucking Play-Doh, I think. It was in the Himura's World OVA that we saw. It's not real, guys. Fake news, but it's a joke.
I want some Primordial Eve, though. She looks fun.
Now, Mitochondrial Eve, though, is a Lancer, so that can they could just do that.
Oh, that's true. Oh, it's mitochondria. I keep forgetting that. Primordial, mitochondria, same base, I guess.
Yeah, her name is technically called Lucky Mother. Yes, I know, the irony is not lost on us.
Anyway, we're gonna move on now. You have answers. Now, we move on to Evaporation of Sanity. Who says? Question. What story do you wish that they fleshed out more that was hinted at in various works? For example, Ren's post-FSN adventure dismantling the Grail with Waver. Second example, the original prototype story was scrapped but is now hinted at many times, seeing author bring up the past. Your thoughts?
I mean, I don't want to say that prototype is completely free of being fleshed out, because I feel like, literally that character is now the main character of Strange Fake. So like, I don't want to call that one as like not to be fleshed out. I wouldn't mind. I think I've talked about this before. I would not mind seeing a post-FSN, like, more post-FSN entries in the timeline period. I think Strange Fake and then super far future stuff. Well, far future as far as FSN goes, 20 or 30 years with extra and so on is the only ones we get. I would not mind a, like, late 2000s, early 2010s Fate story that discusses that stuff, because again, there's a lot of interesting stuff I've read about characters. I had to read a lot about the Einsburns to do the Homunculus thing today, and it's actually kind of interesting because it does explicitly, this is good for my future Fate campaign when I want to run it, it does explicitly mention that the only way they might quit in their quest is if their ultimate Homunculus, Ilya, is destroyed. Maybe. Maybe that might make them quit. So it's entirely possible that they would not give up right away. Like, there's a lot of interest there, and obviously you need a little bit of wiggle room if you're going to do, fan projects, but that's definitely an area they haven't really explored. Not even, they dismantled the Greater Grail. That doesn't stop them from trying. In Apocrypha, the Einsburns are like, we'll just make a new one. We've already lost the Greater Grail. Well, we can keep destroying that. We can try that again. That's their thing, is they don't stop. It's wild. We'll get some of that action in this, but I think we might get it a different topic in the future. But yeah, there's a lot of, like, that's something even, it's light, but that's something even that Karna Kyokai did, right? Like, there is a 10-year after epilogue, which, features, Shiki as a mom and her adorable small child.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging out with that other guy whose eye she killed. Shiki's great, she only kills a little bit of you. Oh, your appendix? You don't need that. Your mystic eye? Don't need that. That is something that hasn't really been seen in the actual, like, Fate stuff. And I don't even know if I want to call, that's not the point of shit like Requiem and Extra, right? Like, those timelines are so freaky deaky. In Requiem, everybody has a servant. In Extra, there's no fucking mana left on Earth, so people must go to Moon, right? Like, they're really, really weird. I would just like a normal, modern story about some of these characters a little bit older.
If I'm Lucky's, if I wanted to have it, I want the OG FGO Holy Grail War, with Solomon and whatnot. I want deets on that. And 2, just the previous Holy Grail Wars in general. Yeah,
that's another big one, is details on the third, and I think the first, maybe the second, but the third would be interesting. Mm-hmm. And the third has a couple different versions. We've already seen the timeline fork.
Yeah. So,
like, you could do Apocrypha 0.
Ooh.
Right? You could do that Grail War where again, they've already done Fate 0, so it's not like the fact that we know Darnik wins by stealing the Grail Roar, the Greater Grail actually works. That would be great for Fion, because he gets to be in it. You get more Amakusa. A whole thing.
Be great. But we must move on, so thank you very much. This next one comes from Dave Senor El Salvatore. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I hope I did.
It sounded appropriately Italian.
They say, What do you guys think is going to happen with David Bluebook? Do you think he's just some rando or someone important later on?
I am not legally allowed to answer this question.
Lucky has no fucking idea. Lucky hopes he becomes something. Something happens with him somewhere. But, it can go anyway. Lucky doesn't fucking know. Maybe he leaves us a sweet clue. David Bluebook, the guy who's been, you see before every, Lost Belt, who talks about, like, the world in the 3 months that you were in fucking, the imaginary,
yeah, he's in the prologue to every Lost Belt, David Bluebook.
Yeah. He's riding around the motorcycle, like, trying to find people. He's heading to Area 51.
And he's writing a very specific diary.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know the future, I don't want to say anything about this question, because that's one of those weird things where, like, if because I have foreknowledge, if I say anything, that could be considered tainting the well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, nope. I plead the fifth, guys.
He's done. So, alright. So that's that. Well, he's probably going to find something freaky deaky at Area 51. I'm almost assured of that. But, other than that, So, we move on. This next one comes from Tamer of Beast 3R, now on the hunt for Beast 3L. Hey there, boys. Here's my question. Considering what we know about Solomon so far, how do you think he be designed to play an FGO? A support? DPS? A hybrid of some kind? I think he plays as a hybrid caster, but want to hear your thoughts. Happy holidays and good luck on your future roles. Good luck to you too.
So, we do actually know some things about, because he is an NPC, we do actually know some things about how Solomon is coded. That said, I would hope they would change these, because he is unfortunately a caster with a caster deck and, like, 1 hits on all his cards.
Oof.
Though his supposed theoretical NP charge per attack is 1.64, which is phenomenal. But 1 hits arts cards, kids. And he has actually a arts AoE Noble Phantasm, is how that's supposed to work.
Meg, I'm gonna cut you off real quick here because I'm laughing a little bit in cynicism. I like how we say like how this guy would be designed, and the first thing out of someone's mind is he'd be AoE going immediately to fucking Noble Phantasm. That's right. That's right, everyone's immediate fucking concern is what kind of Noble Phantasm do you have?
Though actually, I do believe that because he also appears in that, he could be a Saber style deck too. That's a different version because there's a couple different versions of him appear. But he has Territory Creation A and Item Creation C, and he could have a single target buster or an AoE arts based on the data mines. I don't know what they'd go with that, or if they'd do something completely different, because there is some weirdness, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I just realized the true Solomon notes say NP charge rate of 0. That doesn't work. So they would probably do something different with that, but I would imagine just because of the way he has appeared as a character, he would probably be like what this person mentioned about a hybrid. Like, I'm guessing he would have, team supporting type abilities with his skills.
They do something wild, like you activate it. Like maybe, honestly, maybe they do a. You know, what'd be fucking wild. Okay, so Lucky is just spitballing this idea, but I think it's actually kind of fucking wild. Is in that when in his standard kit, he is just a kind of a support caster, but if you fire off his MP, it changes his MP into something. The next time you use it, it changes it into something completely different.
Ooh, that would be interesting. You could actually do that. There are characters who change NP card types, which means they change the mechanics. It would be complicated as fuck for extra levels, but it would be possible to have a buff that sets you to do a different NP, right?
Yeah, so basically, I would say his support kit would just be, honestly, just all-around support of himself and other casters, but after you fire his MP once, basically, you go into, fucking Super Solomon time, and you change into you change your MP into like a super damaging type or something. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but
could be interesting. And there are ways they could do it. Like, I do think, again, because of the way he's portrayed, he would not be necessarily a full support caster.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is, no matter what version between the Gaetias and the Solomons you're looking at, is he does have some big damage pops, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be valid. But they could do something interesting because he's also, the king of magecraft and all that fun stuff. He's got that EX clairvoyance, which could be interesting because it being EX means they could make up whatever rules they want for it. It could be like a single target version of Caskill's star buff, right?
Yeah.
Like, just give anybody super big star generation. Stuff like
Here
that.
you go.
That could be fun. Yeah. And I got to be reals with yous. I do think there will be a quote-unquote Solomon servant at some point. I know that our boy Romani did remove himself from the throne, but, there's that ominous image of guys picking up rings still in the Lost Belt trailers, and there's a weird guy in a lab coat saying he's from Chaldea in every Lost Belt. So, I'm like, no, that sounds like the perfect thing to when we get towards the end of part 2, that sounds like the reverse Merlin situation, right? Mm-hmm. Where some kind of Solomon or Gaetia or whatever comes to bail us out at the last minute.
Lucky's crackpot theory is that the main character was to become a pseudo-servant. He would become a pseudo-servant with Solomon.
Actually, it's a very interesting question. If you have Gaetia, who technically had Solomon's original real boy body, even though Solomon, all his works are done and he can't be summoned because he has no more wish normally, could you still do the goo and get, could you have Gaetia do his own version of Ars Nova and give back his body to Solomon? I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see. Like I said, I am 100% certain that's going to be a thing in the future of some kind. They're going to do that. I actually believe that Masked Man is not Masked Man. Cloaked Man is ahead of us. Actually, I think the only time we're close to quote unquote catching him is maybe in Lost Belt 3, but that's because he's going in a different direction from us. Because I believe when we get to Lost Belt 1, he's already been there and left. That's how some of the Yaga know the name Chaldea. I believe he may be with us at the same time in parts of Lost Belt 2, but never in the parts we go.
Yeah, because didn't he save a village or something?
Yes, he saved a village on his own when we were.
Oh yeah, and he put up a barrier. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, he saved Gerda's village. He was ahead of us there, but he was going through different stuff. Yes, he's clearly doing something else. Some of it, at least with the way Lost Belt 1 sounds like he's showing up to Lost Belts before us to pave the road almost, to smooth things out. Or maybe just make sure they don't explode right away. Who knows? We might even. Lost Belt 6 is called Avalon Lefay. That might even be the time for a Magecraft guy to actually show up. Ow. I punched my desk.
Looking so happy that he fucking called that.
Yeah.
All the phones are fucking ringing.
That's a good one.
Sorry, I like patting myself. When I get it right, I like patting myself on the back. I need all the
shooting your shot is good. Though this it's like with Vritra, where she shows up in the trailer and I'm like, guys, I just want to let you know, don't kick your own asses trying to speculate this. In less than 24 hours, the servant will literally out.
Yeah.
Just because I'm now is not the time to break out the disguise. It's those, when people were trying to figure out who the Lost Belt trailer servants were, sure, okay, some of those guys didn't come out until last year. So, heck, fucking Tombo Vitch isn't even out, even though we're pretty sure that that's her in the trailer. But, it's still very open-ended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll keep moving on here. So, this next one comes from Aha! I know how to cheat the system. Hi, StudiOmega Lucky. Is Martha a Sakura face? Or she just looks like her? Are they related in some way? Because I want to collect all Sakura faces in the game, but I don't know if I should roll for Martha in this Christmas banner because King Protea Melt combat is just a few minutes away. Thanks.
No, Martha's not a Sakura. She just has purple hair.
She just has purple hair. Do you not
There's
know
lots of people
how...
with purple hair.
Thank you for your question. I hope that solved everything. We're gonna move on to the next one. This one, Lucha for the Lucha Goddess. Samba for the Samba Throne. Hola, mis amigos. What would your luchador's name be? And what would you call your tag team? Hope you're having a good week. Hope you're having one good too.
I mean, obviously, our tag team is the StudiOmega.
Mm-hmm.
We are the studio. I should probably just be Omega Mask. Do an all-dark mask with just the red Omega letter on the top.
Let's see. Let's see here. For my wrestling name, I mean, honestly, I just go for fucking Rabbit of Tyranny. Why not? I'm not, I don't know. I'm not good at names. I'm really not.
Do that bunny. Do the Legend of Zelda style bunny ear hood.
Hell yeah, bunny ear hood rocks.
Oh my god, he's so fast.
Anyway, thank you very much. This next one comes from number 1 Sabersimp, who says, question, should I skip all my banners until that anniversary update that allows for 11 pools to come out since I'll get more bang for my buck?
What?
I mean, sure.
No.
I mean, sure.
Why?
If you want to miss all the limited servers between then and then.
No, that does not. It's +1 summon, my dude. It's not that important. Like, it's
No.
cool, but it's not actually that important. Honestly, it's better for if you're spending a lot of tickets, because you do actually, if you spend 10 tickets on the same banner, you do actually get a 11th roll. But it's still, like, no, it's not a good idea. You think getting 11 instead of 10 servants is gonna, like, break everything? Nah, dude. Anyway, I think we answered that one.
Next one. Thank you very much. This next one comes from the Dragon King, who says, the way I see it, every life is a pile of good things and bad things. Good things don't always soften the bad things, but vice versa, the bad things don't necessarily spoil the good things or make them unimportant. That is a quote for something I really believe in. The reason I'm saying it is because Tamamo does have a lot of good and evil in her. For example, she only serves those whose intention and actions are ultimately good. Now for my question this week. Have you ever seen Gil fight at his best, no holding back? I think yes, but not sure. Sorry this is long. It's not long, my dude.
No, we read several multi-paragraph questions.
Yep.
Which list I have, because my order is not the same as your order. I think I have lost track of this question.
Gil fight at his best holding back. I mean, he did fucking blast Tiamat with fucking Elish and literally was using his fucking Gate of Babylon as a
Yeah,
gun.
no, I think the end of Babylonia Gil is probably about the most serious he has been, because that was no sass, no backtalk, just like, yeah,
Power.
I'm here, I'm fucking shooting shit, what do you want from me? You guys caused so much of a ruckus, I had to just pop over from the fucking throne to see what's up. I think the only other time is when you cannot actually... Most people can't see, but I do believe if you do the Gil route in CCC and take him all the way to the end, yes, that is... Versus Kiara is Gil at 100% or more. But that's the whole point of actually doing CCC. Like, everybody is giving 100% if you get to the end of that game.
Time to go wild. Alright, but there you go. Have some answers. I hope you enjoy them. We move on to Chaos Spirit, now planning a luchador team. Cyrus21, who says, question, I am so happy you guys read my letter. Nice. Due to the name of Raita Power Rising episode, I had a question pop into my head. Considering how Raiko was going to be drawn by someone else till she was done by Raita, if you could pick someone in FGO to get a Raita redesign, with all that implies, who would you have him redo or do? I do know that he's done some art with Scotty before. I'm thinking a proper saver version of Ushi Wakamaru as an adult, since she's related to Raiko. Glance to the side. Possibly one of the Lancer Artorias. Also,
hey man, don't do my man like Akira Ishida like that. The Lancer Artorias designs are very stylistic, but I love the armor.
Mm-hmm. Also, I accidentally put this in the comments of the episode you guys answer my question in. Oops. Yeah,
that's okay. If you're new, like at this point we've been doing Mailbag so long, we don't actually talk about how Mailbag works. Is if you're new here, we make a post on our community tab, and we usually yell about it on Twitter and in Discord and stuff. Every week, I won't say a weekday because it's not consistent. It happens. Mailbag happens when it happens, guys. It's just like life. But yeah, so that's the correct thread to submit questions in. Yeah, I gotta be real. I'm not like on a quote unquote redesign. Nah, I'm not. I don't think there's any designs I quote unquote hate enough. Like, nah. I know there's some people who will be petty enough to be like, ooh, Boudica. But like, I think most characters' designs are fine. And if they're not fine, I don't think Raita will necessarily make them quote unquote better. He would just
like I said,
Arco draws a lot. I think it's still like virtual Comcat, right? Mm-hmm. But I do believe What Arco is releasing FGO Memo 5. So,
ooh.
Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, she draws a lot of alternate designs for servants as well, and they're cool. But I wouldn't want her to draw literally every servant, any more so than she already does because of the power of being the art designer on Extra. That would actually be wild. Imagine if they made another standalone Fate game and they made Raita the art guy, like fucking Valkyria Chronicles style.
That'd be cool if it was actually like that'd be cool if it was a tactics game too.
Actually,
I'm trying
It'd be pretty fun.
Okay, wait. If Margo does manga, what's the fucking art book series that Vritra does that's FGO? I can't remember the name of it.
Oh gosh, I don't remember. Yeah, he's done at least 2. He does have an art book series where he draws other people.
I think he's up to 3.
Is he up to 3? I wouldn't be surprised.
I think so. Actually, hang on.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with Blood Axe's design. It's just very plain. You guys also have to remember that before FGO, a lot of servant designs were very restricted. Like, Artoria is not really that crazy. It is 3 art books, jeez.
Oh, yeah, Graffiti Book 2, Absolute Girl, Vritra. Yep. Oh, man. I'm sorry, I just typed Vritra into fucking, and I'm just looking at, like, oh, Savaria, you are still super fine.
Mm-hmm. Like, and especially seeing, like for instance, Summer Ushi's design, I don't, think her artist is, bad or anything. It's just that, OG FGO has some simplistic stuff, and you gotta remember, there's an art team, right? Like, it's not just the artist, but also, Takeuchi and other people at Type Moon and Delightworks talk back and forth with the artist to arrive at the desired result. And I'm sure, guys like Vritra or even, whatever, super excited. I mean, she does have Ushi in her name, but,
also, it's from the line that, Ushi talking about her, adult form is definitely Vavavu.
Well, yeah, several characters talk about how indifferent looks they're different. Yeah, no, that's 3 art books. There you go.
I really need to get them.
I don't know who drew that character who appears in Lost Map 5.5, because they're not summonable yet. I don't think it's a Vritra design, because it's not stylized enough. But, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, well, yes, Axe, I mean probably. Ushi. Cow. Ushi. It's the fucking easiest... I don't think Axe understands how much the Japanese love wordplay. He always comes up with these complaints about, oh, it's just this... No, obviously, Axe. It's incredibly obviously. Is there a shitty pun to be made? The Japanese will dive into it like into first base. They're there. You're thinking about that incredibly basic bitch wordplay, Axe? Like, you're just coming up with it right now? No. They've already bought fucking real estate at that bad joke. They're there. They're in there.
Right.
Honestly, other than the fact that, again, Vritra has a very pronounced drawing style, so, maybe the hip area is a little more, that could just be an angle.
Wait, Omega, did you say that? Did you say it was bad?
No.
Then Axe is putting words in the people's mouth again. Noted.
I mean, the pun, yes, but all puns are bad. All puns are awful.
Well, yeah, but we're still going to keep making them.
Yes, because puns are also the one form of humor that is universal, along with poop jokes, basically. Yeah. Which are also pretty lowbrow, but it is the human persistence. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say, is other than maybe the angles on the hips, but that also could just be, again, an angle thing, because, again, Summer Ushi's legs are super long. Vritra has a very specific, detailed style, so, Ushi's ribs are very pronounced in that, because she's tiny. But also, if you look above it, you can see all the chests, because he drew the Backspears boys, and, all of their arms and chests are huge and cut. Which, I think in general, that is just Vritra's style, is that it is very, very detail-heavy, right? Mm-hmm. And those details are very pronounced, But, I generally think that the way it works with art designs is they like to keep artists with the art because that's their design that they worked on, right? They were commissioned to do this design. It's not just for chump change. They actually, work out the thing, and they actually like to keep at it. I think we spent way too long on this question.
Yeah. The timer's run out, by the way.
Of course it is. They had me yelling about art.
Yeah, they did. So,
okay.
That's it. Sorry if we didn't get to your question this week, but do not worry. Submit it again next week. It will be read, and it will be spoken about aloud live.
You did also, you as in you people out there, you did also give us 31 questions on a show where there was a Christmas announcement. I know some of you didn't realize there would be a Christmas announcement yet, but you should have. All right,
Devilish, stop. Just stop. Right now.
We need to do the show. It's fine.
I'm distracted enough. Heck.
Is that a CE design for Woo, or did Vritra come up with that? I think that's on a CE, isn't it?
I think that's on a CE.
I gotta be honest, it's very hard to tell that Carmilla CE design from the actual CE.
No. The Carmilla design, she's looking back. This one, she's front, looking forward.
That's true, actually. Yeah, you're right.
I remember
but
that CE.
the spirit of the outfit is all still there, though.
Yes. Actually, yeah, no. He's basically, those swimsuits are basically all just CE outfits that he's redrawn.
Yeah. With different poses, but they all for the most part, I don't actually see them as all that quote unquote different. Mm-hmm. But okay, let's take a brief intermission.
Right,
We'll move into our back half.
I'm making a fucking joke here.
All right, we're live again. Sorry, I had to yawn again briefly. I yawned when I paused it, and I yawned before I unpaused it. The duality of man. Okay, let's move into Chaldea Free Talk. Robin, this is where you say it's free talk now. It's right here. This part's free talk. I think we should probably do this the order that's in the show notes. Mm-hmm. Just because I don't want to necessarily distract and come back from that. So let's do talk about Holy Night, Samba Night first impressions. Because it's time-gated, so we can't talk about the whole thing. Soon, though.
Yeah, going by how this is, we probably only got a couple more days of story quests, right?
Yes, I do believe it's only like 1 or 2 more.
I feel like it's 2 more, because today should be giving us the...
Yeah, because there should be like 1, or maybe there's 2 story chapters tonight, and then there's an epilogue, because it ends the 25th. So, yeah, actually, this should be we should be almost done, but there are, as I said when I did the pregame, there are actually like a couple of, because there's a final chapter and an epilogue, so there's at least a, decent block of text. I will be happy to get that permanent Kets and those extra NP copies, though. Anyway,
event-wise. Right now, I adore Bradamante. She is pure and precious. Like, it's just that image of the big hulking knight just standing over the small person. Just put my face on the big one and Bradamante as I just try to keep her from all things dark and evil and let her live in her pure and innocent world.
Yeah.
Like I said, if she shows up, whenever she shows up, I'm not gonna be mad. I will be excited. That being said, I'm probably still not. I'm not burning my soul's life. I said, if the next few months weren't already death, I probably would have considered it. But I gotta prioritize. Again, they in this event they have officially established that no Santa can be Santa twice in a year. I think this is just previous Santas now being salty. It's like we couldn't do it, you can't do it. Fortunately, this comes up later, but that doesn't stop any of them from trying, though. They must really like being Santa.
Well, I think Altera gives the excuse, basically, which is like, okay, but since the tournament's weird, I figured if I did it again, I would become a different Santa.
Neo-Santa.
Because the idea she has is basically that, okay, even though she still wants to do the job, because we actually get direct continuity, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That as this Santa, she can't just do it again. She has to pass it off to somebody else. So she picks Kets. Kets mishears her and thinks she says Samba. So she does a, is it like Sambista? I think that might be a noun. Anyway, Samba is a music and dance genre.
Yes.
So she thinks it's a dance thing. That's why she's constantly dancing, shimmying up and down the screen. It's hilarious.
Those abs are going wild.
So yeah, that's true. That is what the skill is called. Yeah, so that's probably. I don't know Portuguese very well, but I'm gonna bet that's probably a way that, like, much like how we go barista, there's probably a conjugation of the word there to make it a person who does samba.
Mm-hmm.
So she is a samba dancer. She has a very carnival-inspired outfit. But she's still dedicated to be, she's a goddess who gives gifts. She's still okay with spreading joy.
Mm-hmm.
However, something's gone horribly wrong. There's a heel Kets and a good Kets, a baby face abs. So I guess the idea is that because they're split, that is actually the terms in lucha wrestling is Ruda is the heel role.
Heel. Yep.
And I believe Technica is the.
Yep.
Yeah, Technica is the face role.
Yep.
Though this borrows from all kinds of various cultures, right? Because Kets is samba, but that's usually a Brazilian thing. But the singularity takes place in Mexico and features lucha wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting back and forth. Though obviously there is comparisons between Quetzalcoatl and Kukulkan, who is a Mayan deity. So there is some overlap in those cultures. They were close together at certain points. But anyway, so there's good Kets and bad Kets. So the Samba Kets is not a fully formed Santa yet. She's only at 50% Santa power, which can explain why she's a temporary servant, right?
Yep, limited.
She's in her limited time only form. But we get this thing, and so Quetzal Black Mask has set up a tournament to decide the ultimate Santa, with her as the finale. Whoever wins will get all the Santa Go juice and become the real Santa.
Mhm.
And we're opposed to that because regular Cats needs to be a normal Santa, and also the Black Mask one is bad, I guess? Like, there's some shady stuff going on with the tournament, but it feels more like it's just a wrestling storyline where just like, she is the bad one, she must be defeated.
Also, just letting anyone just have a powerful wish making.
Well, yeah, that's true. If anybody won the power of Santa, it would be weird.
Like, think about it. Like, all of these are our servants.
True, yeah. There's a grail. There is a grail involved at the end. That's also true. Because we do get a grail for completing the epilogue.
And fucking, I love my servants. I do not trust them with a grail.
No, and we see the people in the tournament, right? So
yeah.
it becomes the classic of like, it's not a super huge world shaking conflict, but it would probably be not great if we let some of these people win. So we got to enter the contest herself to make sure we win. Cats can get herself all fixed up, and we can have a proper Santa-ing and Christmas this year. Yay!
Yay!
So it's and like I said, it's got a lot of classic wrestling storyline vibes. I said this earlier. I'm not a big wrestling guy. I'm familiar with wrestling as a concept. I understand kind of the concept how it works. Face and heel, kayfabe, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some famous wrestlers, much like how I know some famous athletes who pay stuff like baseball and basketball, which I don't follow. Like you said, you used to be more into wrestling.
Yeah, I did. Like, I'm back. I was back in the fucking aughts with SmackDown and Raw, but I fell out of that, so I am not up to date.
Some of the jokes still land. There are some specific references that I'm betting I'm not getting, but it doesn't really matter because, honestly, so long as you understand the concept of wrestling and how professional wrestling works, you can follow the story.
Actually, there was a couple references that I got, but I was like, wait, like, but now I can't remember them because there was some references in there that I was like, fuck, what was it? Now I don't know anymore. Now I'm upset. But it turns out when you get there that you find out it's a fucking tag team match, and Quetz is like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then who should you happen on but a pile of rags need of help, and enter one Bradamante, who, because she is such a pure and noble soul, found the wishing grand device and decided she was going to use it to wish for, world peace and happiness. And
got defeated in the qualifiers, because that is the thing that Black Mask does. Is she's like, you don't need to do qualifiers. You're in the tournament.
No, did she even make it to the qualifiers? I thought she because she got
she was eliminated in the qualifying process. She says. So we don't know exactly what that looks like. Was she literally beat up in the qualifiers, or did Black Mask Cats go, you don't have a partner, get the fuck out? I don't actually know. I don't think it matters, but
well, no.
She does say something about qualifying in the preliminaries.
I feel like you got mixed up because I'm talking about Bradamante. Martha was the one who got kicked out in the qualifiers.
That's right. Martha did get kicked out in the qualifiers. No, but Bradamante does say something about how she was looking for the thing.
Yeah.
Was she beat up by Black Mask? Okay, that was it.
Yeah. And, had, I think, most of her power drained, and she didn't have enough magical power to sustain herself, but, hey, lucky for her, the world's only master who can, help people like that, shows up, and through the power of motherfucking friendship, they decide to form a tag team.
We gave her bread. We are now friends. Bread friends.
This is how it works.
And so, being a noble knight, Bradamante has all the gusto and all of the big personality, basically, to be a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
She just doesn't necessarily have the perfect skills, but that's okay. Ketsa says, we'll take care of that. They elect you to be the manager.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a joke, especially with some of the dialogue options, you can joke about wanting or not wanting to get into the ring, but it's ultimately decided that's a dumb idea.
Uh-huh.
At least with double servant tag teams, it makes sense.
It's like, hey, I fucking threw down with Cats. Fuck you. I can wrestle.
Yeah, but in a tag match with other servants, minimum. Considering very, very quickly, I think the only straight up match we have is the first one, Team Britain. Which, by the way, Jaguar Man and Black Mask Cats hide the other wrestlers, so we don't know ahead of time to make it more mysterious. But the first team is Team Britain, which is Astolfo and Saber Alter.
By the way, FGO, I feel fucking attacked. I really fucking do. because they do this not once, but twice, mentioning fucking Charlemagne. I'm like, how dare FGO win?
Yeah. Well, and also, there's just because there's a paladin, this is a fuckload of name dropping. Ruggiero is mentioned a lot. What version of Bradamante does she say she mentions her brother's name, but that can be, depending on if you're being French or Italian at the moment, that can be said several ways. Renaud or Rinaldo. But she talks about her brother a couple of times. And obviously Roland is mentioned, and as like you said, Charlemagne, including the classic, didn't I hear about Charlemagne on the moon?
Yeah.
Yes, guy. Yes, thank you, FGO. Extella Link had come out by now. I roll much,
but also the second time when Altera comes back, it's like, oh yeah, I know Charlemagne. I'm just like, we have a complicated relationship. I'm just like,
yeah, no.
How dare? How fucking dare?
But yeah, there is a decent amount of paladining discussion. Bradamante reveals how much of a fanboy she is of Merlin. She's not adorable. Down with regular ass mages, but Master Merlin was cool and helped her in an adventure, and you immediately are like, are you sure you're talking about the right Merlin?
And we're just slightly confused about this, but we're like, but she's so pure.
And I mean, Merlin does have hero creation. He's an advisor. He's still a weird man.
Did they literally just steal Merlin so they could have a cool wizard in their stories? I don't fucking know.
Yes, actually. Absolutely.
Okay.
That was absolutely added to the because if you think about it, what they're called the matters, 3 matters. They go in order. There's the matter of Rome, which is what they called it, even though it was Greek and Roman classical mythology, right? The core of the Iliad, Odyssey, Aeneid. That was the matter of Rome. And then there's the matter of Britain, which is the Arthurian cycle and all of the fictitious kings of England. And then there was the matter of France, which starts with the French medieval epics and the Song of Roland and stuff. But also is later in the Renaissance period was adapted by mostly the Italians into stuff like Orlando Furioso and Orlando Irrumatio. If you want to know more about this, by the way, watch Wanted Bradamante. It exists.
What's it doing, by the way, number-wise?
Well, it's doing better than Drawing You, that's for sure.
But anyway, so...
But yeah, like, there's a... like you said, Lucky, there's a lot of, like, hey, because this comes up when you fight Hector, Bradamante yells to him to take better care of, Durandal, because that's what Durandal is made from, is Hector's spear point. That's even in the original medieval. And then, yeah, they were basically like, we need a great wizard. What do we do? Fucking Merlin's ghost shows up. Literally in Orlando Furioso, Bradamante falls in a hole and meets Merlin's ghost. Like it's a fucking Star Wars film. It's wild. Also, yes, she's constantly looking for Ruggiero. Which is interesting. Like, Astolfo even calls this out, right? Where he's like, you're not going to do something weird and, like, think the master is Ruggiero reincarnated or something, right? And she's like, no? Fuck you very much. Also, is that my hippogriff? And Astolfo's just like,
Also, PTS flatbacks to Kiyohime for that, during that
yeah. Well, I mean, and I think they do a good thing where they make their... FGO is far enough along, right? We're in the middle of the 3rd year, that they know how they are, and they know how sometimes they interact. But no, at least Lancer Bradamante, right, she is the Bradamante on her journey in Orlando Furioso. She is looking for her beloved Ruggiero, who was kidnapped by an evil wizard. Which is probably why she doesn't like mages, by the way. BT dubs. So, yeah, no, she's very true to her origins and pure. And honestly, I'm hoping we'll see more conversation about her in the future. Do some repping in the comments, because this is something I talked about in the Wanted. The only thing people talked about was maybe, in the event, 1, the butt shot, and 2, her voice is a little squeaky, which it is, but that doesn't bother everybody.
It doesn't bother me. I think it's cute.
Yeah. And yes, she does show her... It does have a low shot rear, but also it is still the most dynamic, like, NP animation of the time. Like, she has it shows her in a dynamic shot charging towards the enemy who explodes, right? It's not just a front-facing sprite. So I think it's actually a really dynamic entry, and it's fate. I don't know why the fuck you guys are caring about butts. Fucking Nero still has her leotard window. Her clothes are see-through so you can see her bottoms. Because she's a fucking exhibitionist. Anyway. Bradamante is cool, and I hope we hear more about her in future. This is a
Same.
good intro to her. She's nice. I appreciate, though, that she's permanent. I don't feel an imminent need to go apeshit rolling, because future shit will happen.
Like I said, I'm mostly rolling for a chance at Quetzalcoatl, but if a Bradamante shows up, I'll be like, nope, this is fine.
Mm-hmm. And there's always, in future, depending on what your permanents are like. Well, yeah, that's true. Karna's armor is his skin. But no, depending on your future permanent rolls, there will be a permanent SSR ticket in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you don't have a Bradamante and don't have another permanent you really want to go for, could be a perfectly valid pick. People out there, just saying.
Honestly, this might sound weird, but honestly, I might just go for more Tomo MP levels, just because. I know.
Okay,
I know.
That's really a waste of a ticket, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you say it's a waste of a ticket, but
actually, wait a minute. Are you allowed to do that? Are you allowed to pick? There are restrictions on it. Are you allowed to pick someone you already have? I don't actually remember.
Yeah, to level them. That's right, isn't it?
I don't. Yeah, because it's a weird one. Like, there are certain restrictions to bond and stuff. I don't remember if you can use it for multi-NP. Because the ticket was very weird. You have to, have them, at their max ascension and a certain number of bond before so many months go by and shit. So I don't know if they want to give you, if it's designed to give you free NP levels.
That's fair, but I want to consider.
I literally don't remember.
Yeah, anyway. But,
okay, you can't use it as a free USO. So does that mean if you have below NP5? Maybe. That's a future us problem, anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so the fights are fun in a weird sort of way.
Some of them have been challenging, but others have been easy, and they're not all the same for everybody, right?
So, my first couple fights, I had to pop a seal. Not all 3 seals, pop a seal, usually to get an NP immediately, or, oh shit, Elemental Planet Cops, fuck!
I think I may have done that on the very first fight. Yes, I used a seal.
And I said, this was before I realized that fucking Ruler Martha is an absolute beast this event. Okay, so I'm gonna say my only disappointment this event is that when it was time for Ruler Martha to come out, I am super upset that she didn't do the wrestling thing of, just run into the fucking ring from the outside and just fucking end somebody. Do a
dramatic, but it is, I think it's because we're the good guys, we have to play by the quote-unquote rules.
Yeah. But there's just also something to say about someone coming to save the day.
One, yeah, we don't know. There's still at least one more fight, if not 2 more left. So,
because like I said, because that still happens in fucking good guys stories. Is the fucking evil will be coming down hard. The good guys almost land that someone comes in from outside, be like, "I'm here to save the day."
Yeah, I think it just for story formation it worked better, and also because it lets them joke about how dumb Bradamante is. Because she literally when it's how innocent she is, really. We and MASH assume that everybody will just buy that Martha is Quetzal Mask because she's wearing the mask and she says she's Quetzal Mask. So long as she's masked, nobody can prove she's not Quetzal Mask, etc. They just go with it because that's the thing you do in wrestling.
Yes.
Bradamante genuinely believes that because she's wearing the mask, she is Quetzal Mask and is stunned when Martha takes it off.
Maybe loses a little bit of sand there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it was a lie.
Also, by the way, I just want to throw out there in terms of repping Bradamante. I know Valkyrie also just came out and blah, 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 but she's, like Vritra, she's the first permanent AoE Quick Lancer who's SSR. It's for some reason, Lancers are overloaded with Buster.
No, they really are.
I think only in the last couple of years have they actually, brought up a decent number of arts and Quick Lancers. Actually, and honestly, Quick was almost all this year. With, adding, Parvati was, 2 years ago now? Over a year ago? Anyway, we're not here to talk about that yet.
No. So, overall, I'm enjoying the event. Unfortunately, I am not doing so hot at the lotto because I did not throw down for CEs immediately. My grind feels a little stilted, and as I like to say, I do not have pro strats down. Usually I have to bungle my way through, events, and usually it means I rely on my will strat of 3 MLB scopes. Thanks, bye. Larry, I'm doing the Lancer node for the gold drops, and I'm literally using K-Scope Bunyan, K-Scope Mordred, and K-Scope Artoria. It's a very buster-heavy team. They do very buster things. I can 3-turn it, but because I have 3 K-Scopes filling up my slots, that means I only have 2 slots for fucking event CEs. Hence my problem. Maybe, I don't know, maybe once I get a little bit, maybe I'll...
I mean, maybe. I'm also operating on basically zero event CEs. I just am slamming the shit out of nodes over and over again, but I also have like 500 gold apples, so I'm like, I don't care about AP.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, I've definitely been doing that, and also I don't know, because you have a day job. I don't know how much FGO you can do at work.
When this event started, not much. I'm slowly getting better at it, though. Of learning how to, type on my keyboard, punch a button on my phone, go back to typing on the keyboard, punch a button on my phone, grab, like, an article of thing, fucking, touch my keyboard. Like, I have to... FGO is a game that requires a lot of input, so...
Yes, it does.
I can't leave it on auto, like Arknights, like, I just have to push, 3 buttons, and I can leave it alone for a couple minutes while auto runs a...
Yeah, you can do farming at least that way.
Yeah. Azure Lane, while it's a little bit more input-focused, there's still, a solid minute of where you don't have to input anything. And Destiny Child, as I said, I can literally put that on for a fucking hour, and it will do shit. I don't have to fucking touch it. FGO requires my input basically every 10 to 15 seconds.
Yes, every command hand. God forbid if you want to use skills.
Mm-hmm. So, it's a little hard trying to find the flow.
Yeah, so that's probably why. I mean, I admit I'm only on box 8, though part of that is because for boxes anyway, I've only gotten the store CEs and there's no 5th CE, so I need to get a drop to go crazy, get the full event power. Also, I mean, speaking of K-scopes, you don't even need a K-scope for this. Well, I don't know. If you've got 3 K-scopes, you're probably okay on NP. But I will let everybody know, my farming strat is a rash goes in every time. They gave you 50% damage. You don't need anything else. That's just a wave goes away. It's great. I love it. But, yeah, I'm only on, box 8. And it took me all of the ramp in terms of boxes. I was actually doing better at currency, because I've gotten all the CE copies and all the command codes, and I think all the stuff I want from the bronze currency, not yet the higher currencies, but I'm doing okay as far as the shop goes. I have not gone apeshit, but we got a whole week left, right?
Yeah,
which includes the holiday week.
Yeah. I'm getting off early Thursday, so I'm probably gonna do a early stream, and guess what, boys? It's gonna be a fucking grind stream all day, just as fast as I can. So look forward to that. Anything else really I want to talk about the event?
I mean, we mentioned at least there are twists and turns, Bunyan and Edison set up us an electric death match. For some reason, Wu is allowed to cheat, and not only does she include cronies, but she also includes Lubu, but as a mount.
And Carmilla that she hired,
it's her niece, Quamila. So, there's the usual wrestling type shenaniganery.
Yeah.
They do a joke where Bunyan shows up super huge,
And yes, this is how we do entrances.
But that's mostly just, funs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, I don't know if there's actually too much about the event itself to talk about. I think it's a good intro to Bradamante. It shows off Quetz. Once you actually can get rolling on the bonus thing, Samba Queztmas is actually really, really fucking good to use. That AoE buster, she's got plus 150% damage. She slaps pretty hard. Can't wait to get some more MP levels in her. Farming will go even faster.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an alright event for now. I don't have any complaints. I'm loving the EXPs I'm getting, and I'm loving those skill gems. Still need more though.
Mm-hmm.
So many more skill gems. I've actually been looking at my skills and what I want to level, and then I'm immediately oh yeah, I don't have any assassin gems right now. Oh yeah, I don't have any caster gems right now.
I am dying of caster gems right now.
You need how many of what gems? Because he's a ruler.
Yeah, no, I'm having
to level Samba Queztmas skills too. Jesus Christ.
Oh no, I decided I was gonna level Ruler Martha's skill. I was like, nope. I'm like,
yeah, no. So, I am ready to have. Give me a towel node, give me a fucking CE drop, and give me NP5 Kets. I will nuke some boxes with a fucking orbitable present bomb. That said, I have not built a written notes for a welfare corner in this episode because she's not permanent yet. Soon though, but not yet as of the time we're recording. So that'll go up next week, I think, and we've already got plenty of stuff. Let me actually check. What's the mission clock? It's probably 2 hours. Yeah, 2:04. And we've still got some stuff to talk about. So if we don't have anything more to say about the event...
I feel once we actually finish it out, we'll give
Yeah, we'll
thoughts.
have an overall thoughts about the whole thing, because we'll get to see the finale and the epilogue and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's talk about new servants.
Yay.
I know it's been 2 hours, guys. I hope you didn't forget. It's time for New Servant Deets Santa Fist Edition. So speaking of welfares, Karna Santa, he's actually on the lower end of attack for SR Sabers, but has pretty decent HP. He's not, like, the worst or best in any category, but, decent trend towards ends. He keeps, I should say, his Quick Arts Buster Lancer deck. Interesting that they don't change his deck at all. It works for his new kit, though. He has good NP gain and high hit counts off it, though, which is important for being a Lancer-type deck. So his NP is a single target Quick, which boosts Quick performance and strips the enemy of guts on a Welfare Saber. So, that's gonna slap pretty hard, guys. It's also not AoE, but it is 8 hits if you're looking for some refund memes. So, that's already a pretty good kit setup for a Saber, His first skill gives him a pretty standard type of buff, 20 to 30% Buster and Quick for 3 turns, 3 uses. And 3 turns of straight up 30 to 50% crit up. He's got a Lancer deck, that's pretty standard stuff. His second skill gives him 2 hits of evades for 3 turns. He's fast on his feet. But it also ups his star absorption for a turn, and the critical on his quick cards a further 50 to 100% for 1 turn.
Wow.
So, he basically has Scotty's quick crit style buff on himself. He will crit on those quicks pretty hard. His final skill is a targetable 10 to 20% battery and a 3/3 debuff immunity, 3 times 3 turns. That's a targetable debuff immunity, kids, on a 20% battery. This is his Hero of Charity Santa skill, so of course it is. That's a pretty solid package. Like, he's a hitter, he can use the battery and debuff immunity for himself or for an ally if their NP is more useful. He has all the basic bitch damage modifiers you want, and he has a defensive skill, that is not awful, because it's 2 hits of evades for 3 turns. That's a pretty great damage reduction and potential. Yes, his NP only removes the target's guts, but that's still good. It's the knockout punch. You can't survive the knockout punch, guys. So for passives, he has Magic Resistance A, Divinity A, pretty typical. I think his Lancer form is both of those. And then he's got a special, Brawl or Hard Knuckle kind of skill. This is interesting. It gives him a passive 12% crit plus on Buster cards only. So he doesn't need that special buff for Buster crits. He just does that. And he does have 2 Buster cards, so that's pretty interesting style. It's an interesting and focused package. I've already talked about the pun, fist, sword.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I got my CD drop.
It's very interesting. Well, that's good for you. So yeah, it's altogether. I think he will do a good job, especially for new people. I don't think Lancers are overtly known for guts, but it still has potential, and so remember that while Quick has the lowest inherent damage on a card, Quick NPs have the highest damage multipliers to compensate. He gets a free NP 5 and gets a overcharge based Quick steroid. Even without you trying to do weird loop stuff, he will just punch really hard, literally. And then he has good synergy, I think, with general Quick strategies. And he also has the actual skills to buff his Buster half too, which is pretty fun. Got you some good options.
Ku's fucked.
Oh yeah, no, that's if you ever fight a Ku, this is a pretty decent chance. So let's talk about another new unit, Vritra. I don't actually know you're supposed to pronounce the VR, but Vritra. And to reiterate, she's a permanent new Lancer. And also, shocker, her attack is the highest as a permanent Lancer, outclassing even Romulus Quirinus. She just shot straight to the top. And they absolutely cheated because she has more HP than both him and Karna, so wild. Not the most fragile Lancer. However, she does have a slightly different strategy for most Lancers, so maybe that's why she's not super glass cannon. Because she's actually quick arts Buster. With fairly average hit counts and NP gain, of course. Not too absurd, but nothing really awful either. Her NP is an arts AoE. It's only 3 hit counts, guys. Don't get too excited about that part. But it lowers enemies' arts resistance for 3 turns, gives them skill seal for 1 turn, and reduces their critical chance by 20% for 3 turns. So, it's basically the arts package. Hello, I will hit you, and then I will hit you again. Yeah, she is one of the most foremost asuras of Hindu mythology. I mean, that's why she's got some certain skills we're going to get into. Speaking of which, her first skill is a self 20 to 30% art steroids for 3 turns, pretty typical, but also gives her 1 turn of increased absorb on her arts cards. So those 2 arts cards will probably crit if you have stars. And she's got 2 quick cards, so that's not uncommon. This is kind of how you make up for the fact that her hit counts and NP gain is very average. You can turn those into crits and do some serious damage. Second skill is a 20 to 30% battery for herself, and also gives the team 20 to 30% damage against Divine Servants for 3 turns. That's right, she has a team anti-divine skill.
Oh.
On a 30% battery as well. So this gives her some interesting options for her niche, and because everybody in arts likes to get on the party, right, firing NPs and arts cards constantly, that's actually not an awful idea. Her final skill, which I think is something like, it's the name is something like, the absolute demon or whatever, it's to signify how high in the process she is as a demonic being. It gives her a 1 to 3k guts for 3 turns, a 5 to 10% NP for 5 turns, and gives the team 1 use of a 10 to 20% NP damage up for 5 turns. So it's a really, really good tactics. So, yeah, that's pretty spicy. She has magic resistance A, pretty good for a Lancer. And also, interestingly enough, she uses that dragon kind passive that Ibuki has.
Oh.
So she actually has a passive, it's smaller, it's only dragon kind A, but she has like a 200 damage cut and like 10% buster plus.
Interesting.
Really interesting. I'm actually kind of glad they've started adding this, because this means that for certain servants they can buff buster cards without using madness enhancement, because it's a little weird. It's, they're only 5 years in for them to outgrow some of their early game design flaws. I do not, by the way, think that characters like Siegfried and Sigurd and Artorial will be getting this. They already have skills which represent their dragoniness. Literally, Sigurd's Buster Up is called Dragonkind Transformation. It just makes sense for characters who start as dragons, or literally descended from Dragonkind, rather than any other external stuff. Still, neat, interesting.
Very.
So, all in all, I don't think her kit's really flashy. The team divine damage up is cool, but nothing else crazy about it. The thing is that she's got raw attack, she hits pretty hard, and she fulfills a basic archetype, which, like I said, literally didn't exist in SSR Lancers yet. There was no AoE SSR Lancer, let alone the AoE SSR Arts Lancer, who had the highest attack, right?
Yeah.
So,
if I remember correctly, isn't Fionn the only Arts AoE Lancer we have at the moment? Before this?
Yeah, I think so. Let me pull that up to double check. I've been double checking my notes a lot, so let me look. There actually aren't a lot of Arts Lancers. A lot of them were added recently. So yeah, is Li Shu? He's story locked, so I don't have him. Is he single target? Yes, I figured he was. I wanted to double check. So yeah, it's Fionn, Qin Liang Yu, and Hozawin don't count. Those are self buff skills. So yeah, for us it's only Fionn, and that won't get fixed until next summer, I believe.
Summer Melt?
Yeah, Summer Melt.
Lambrous. Excuse me.
Yes, because Nagao Kagetora is single target arts. Now, this year they did release a welfare AoE arts. That's Erise.
Oh, okay.
But that's still... She has a slightly different niche and is still a 4-star, And I don't believe that she is actually like that heavily attack focused. She does have a similar deck and style to her kit, but like her, I would honestly say these guys probably go well together because you can have them play off each other. Because Amedo Sakahoko removes defensive buffs and has a very low chance to inflict instant death, but Vritra does the thing where it's like, oh, your arch resistance is down, and also you can't crit, and your skills are sealed. So, between defensive buff removal and the ability to prevent them from doing skills, you can build a pretty convenient arts anti-asshole lockdown. And let me tell you guys, archers like to evade. They have a lot of evades. I know some people say that skill seal is actually not great because that means opponents are attacking you every time, but sometimes skill seal is great. Because servants can spam their skills, and some of them are really annoying. So, yeah, no, Arts Lancers are incredibly limited in scope, so Vitra's a really good ad, I think. As a permanent, too. It's like what they did earlier this year with Sabers and Dioscuri. Also, hey, fun fact, I was double-checking the artist. They're drawn by I assume it's pronounced La Na since there's a dash in there, who has not drawn any servants yet for FGO, but is Ophelia's character designer.
Oh, interesting.
So it's Ophelia's artist. Good for them to finally get a unit in-game.
Yay.
So for her VA, I don't recognize them. It's Maruka Asahina. She seems like she's relatively new, hasn't started getting like really big mainline roles until the last couple of years, but new to FGO. Yeah, I read that. I don't know what that means.
New game is an anime.
I know it's an anime. Like I looked at like her credits, but I'm like, okay, that's a thing that exists, but I can't shout out things I don't understand. I will say that she does have gacha game experience. She has several characters in Girls Frontline and Azure Lane, which is probably kind of how you end up tapped for some of these jobs if you haven't worked with Fate before. Like if you're not a big Fate fan, but they're like, oh, you do gacha stuff? Get in contact with your agency, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be interested to kind of see more because it seems like from the trailer and stuff, this is definitely one of those cases where she's kind of like how they're handling Bradamante in this event. She's directly involved in the story.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah, these are both super interesting. I guess now we just got to see who's up for New Year's.
Soon.
Well, that reminds me. That means calendar. Look at calendar. Technically I have 2 weeks before the 1st. So I got to shoot a Wanted Benny Enma, but I have a 2-week window to figure out when that is. See, that I can probably time because of how they can't release it early and fuck me. It's not allowed. She's for the New Year's event and the New Year's banner. You can't shenanigans me this time, Aniplex USA. All right, so that's our new servant stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also, actually, no, there's actually one more thing I want to talk about because we've had that question about like gender flips and stuff lately. I do actually want to throw this out about Vritra. So, it's not necessarily a flip. Vritra is normally an embodiment, yes, they're described as a giant serpent. They are usually a embodiment of drought. Like, literally, they are the concept of drought.
I think the first legend is Vritra literally just sealed up all the world's rivers like mine.
Yeah. Which is probably what her NP references. Oh, demons cover the universe. You know?
Andrew had to be like, stop that, and boop a snoot.
I mean, they would probably the maintenance. They would probably they're still got to do like a new servant, so they're gonna have maintenance to put stuff in, guys. That's not crazy. I said that earlier. I don't actually know if they're gonna do a New Year's event because they're releasing a lot of content. I'd be happy if they do, but I'm like, I don't expect anything. That doesn't mean anything just because they do maintenance.
At minimum, they're doing a New Year's commemoration. Get a CE, yes. Have a banner.
Yeah, there is new shit they have to put in the game that I presume they wouldn't preload. Because I do actually believe that FGO is getting more sensitive about preloading their assets because they do get data mined all the time.
Good job, guys.
I mean, it's interesting. It also does get weird because they get a little like we've talked about this. Fate isn't super sensitive about spoilering their own stuff, but I do believe they do actually like to, in some cases, be more controlled about their banner releases because those involve people and stuff.
Yes.
You know, you gotta have all your ducks in a row. But anyway, as I was saying about Vritra, they are not normally personified as a person at all, but while sometimes in Buddhism depicted as male, in other more obscure Buddhist sects, they are actually represented as a female character. And who do you know who loves his obscure Buddhist trivia? Nasu. It's Nasu. Nasu. It's just like the jackal gag from Family Guy. Nasu, Nasu, Nasu. It's Nasu. It's him. So, like, this isn't technically a flip. This is just an alternate interpretation that already existed. We've had this conversation with the audience, and I've had it offline with people before. Like, it's like Sanzo or Tripitaka. That's not actually that uncommon to do that. That's been happening since the Chinese printed that fucking story. All 5 billion volumes of it, right? Like, and we talked about that with Kagetora, who we mentioned earlier. That's actually a legit historical theory. They could have been a woman. So it's kind of interesting to see. Like, obviously, I know they are probably going for waifu points, but
she has those sharp teeth, yo.
Mm-hmm. There is also an interesting thing going on. And hey, they gave you a Santa Karna, and he's cool. He's got a hoodie. He's a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
He looks neat. He carries his punching bag on his back.
I think he also might pull gifts out of it.
Yeah, I believe it's his Santa bag as well as his punching bag. Because it's a bag, duh. He also absolutely hits people with like a sword, in case I didn't mention that earlier. So, that's it for our new servants. Super interesting stuff.
Yep.
Always love new dates. Can't wait to see what they do for New Year's. Will
Not
they
entirely
be,
sure.
Will they be another Asian character? This might be the time for the Yoshitsune, or it might not. We don't know.
I feel Yoshitsune is
It'll probably be limited for New Year's.
Yeah.
We also get to figure out what they're doing for the GSSR too,
Ooh.
because we're in a for 5 years they did the 5 years basically right as pools, which is cool, but I don't think they can do that again unless they want to do this calendar year. Like they could do calendar years, I guess. That would be really rough for 2016 though, because that was only half a year. But yeah, we'll get to see what kind of weird shit they pull out of their butts for that as well.
Butts.
New Year's is always a fascinating time, and we'll be sure to tell you about what we got going on. I still don't have to worry because I have paid quartz from summer still. I haven't gone broke yet. So, I got a free GSSR. Thanks, past me! You're welcome, future me. This is not usually, by the way, how past Omega and future Omega work. Usually, past Omega is like, that's future Omega's problem. Fuck him. And I get there and I'm like, damn it, past Omega, why did you do that to me? No one to blame but myself. Let's move into this month's Teach Me Omega Sensei. Let's round out the show by telling you what is a homunculus. So, we're going to talk about homunculi. Strap in, kids. I have 2 pages of this. Homunculus, from the Latin, meaning literally little person. So, there's actually, again, a pretty clean-cut definition for this in Fate. In the Nasuverse, a homunculus is a fully functional life form which was created outside a womb using alchemical magecraft and some raw materials, such as genetic material from humans. I should note that while this does have a specific definition, it is not necessarily something that every asshole knows how to do. It's noted that while Rin is a very talented generalist mage, she doesn't know how to produce homunculus. So, doing homunculus things requires specific knowledge and ability. Now, when talking about what kind of qualities a homunculus has, right, they're artificial life forms. They're created using magecraft, specifically using alchemy magecraft.
Mm-hmm.
They use raw materials that are from people. You should consider a homunculi by definition ageless. Because their bodies rapidly reach whatever their state of maturity is. They do not naturally age past that point. Some of them may have shortened lifespans. We'll come back to that. But they do not age as it is. And by the nature of their creation, they receive all their knowledge and reason the moment they are born.
So this is why Ilya and Irie look the way they do.
Yes.
Act the way they do. Okay.
Yeah. Homunculi are ageless in the sense that age isn't a factor for them. You know Ilya's little henchman homunculi? Sela and Listrit? They're both actually about 2 years old, even though they look older and are probably physically stronger than Ilya. Ilya is also weird. We'll talk about her, actually. There's a lot of time spent on the Einsburn technique here, because it's one of the most detailed. Shocking. I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in their perfect state, if you create an ideal homunculus, they are effectively an artificial nature spirit. They passively gather energy from the planet and will not naturally die so long as there is mana. You can still stab them and they fall over, but they're functionally immortal.
I rip out their heart. They stop as anyone else does.
Yes. It's the Tolkien elves solution. So long as there is magical energy for them to power themselves on, they will continue to exist forever. This is why Irie and Ilya have that child of nature skill. If you are a high-quality homunculus, you are an existence that is close to a nature spirit, which is like a fairy, a true ancestor, etc. However, most homunculi produced are not perfected. As you might expect from trying to replicate mystics over and over again, not all of them are that good. This means that you have to have trade-offs for rapidly creating artificial life, right?
Yes.
Like, you are rapidly force-growing a living creature, not necessarily a humanoid, but a living creature with magic. This means that they might be physically small or frail. They might have limited intellect. They can be unable to produce or have shortened lifespans. We see this even with the Einsburn quality homunculus, who are, spoilers for later, the Einsburns are the undisputed best at this. They are the homunculus guys. Even their homunculi have limitations like this. They also generally have less life energy than humans. We've talked about this a little bit before with magic. When you're doing magic, there's the internal life energy, basically your chi, because I don't want to say the other word because it's silly. And then there's mana, the external energy of the world. So, homunculi have easier access to mana, because they are more in touch with the planet. They have less physical life energy to spend. So they are pretty different from how humans operate by virtue of being artificial, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why one makes a homunculus can be inferred from one of the ways that we can also define them. Like, we can talk about not just a homunculus as an artificial being, but you should describe a homunculus not as a person created to be a magus, but rather a person created to be a magic circuit, or magic circuits in human form. So, in their ideal form, they can get limitless energy from the planet, and they're custom-made to have high-spec circuits. As mages, they are almost always usually on a completely higher level than humans. So, they trade off in the physicality and the fact that they are artificial. It's even noted many homunculi cannot reproduce on their own. But they get to have optimized magic circuits. So, if you are struggling with magic circuits, they're a great way to get magical juice. This is also, in addition to being the obvious uses for an artificial humanoid, they're basically how you mass-produce mages. So, we often see homunculi wielding weapons and hitting people, and serving tea, I guess, stuff like that. But also, they are, if you build them right, they usually have that high density of magic circuits. And so are, we've talked about, the average quality of a mage and their circuits, right? I believe the average quality of a homunculus is better magic circuit-wise than the average quality of a human mage, so they're pretty good.
Makes sense.
Now, being a form of magecraft, there are, of course, different schools and quality of homunculi from various sources. Just like, not mage A is mage B, right? And not even spells, different people use the Gondor differently. There are different sorts of homunculi. Alright, so now I'm going to take a full, half page to talk about the Einsburns, okay?
Alright.
I said this before, they are the undisputed masters of the homunculi technique. They do other stuff, they are the best at homunculi. This is just straight up stated. They are a family that was founded using alchemy. That's their school of thaumaturgy. And their specific family sorcery trait is the transfer and flow of power, which they apply to transmutation and healing magecraft. So, they're really good at transmuting and healing life energy stuff, and they're all about alchemy. So, they produce very, very high quality homunculi, period. So all models, which they actually refer to this way, they have different templates for different homunculi. All of the Einsburn family homunculi are physically capable. You see this with Ilya's bodyguards. You mentioned them earlier, Scylla and Lacerit. Though, I don't remember which one. Was it Scylla? One of them was actually an attempt to build a lesser Grail terminal that failed.
I think that was the more emotionally dead one. I can't remember her name, though.
Yes.
I think that was...
But in general, all of the Einsburn family homunculi have enough magical circuits to go toe-to-toe with the Mage Association's enforcers. So, any old Einsburn homunculus is considered the equal or better of mage cops. So, they're good. They're really good at this. Now, specifically, their Justice models are very powerful. This is actually why all of the Holy Grail War homunculi look alike. They are all based on the model of Justice. So Justice was apparently created by fluke. She was an accident while the Einsburns were trying to recover the third magic. Though she went on to be the head of the Einsburn family for 200 years, so she's pretty good. She herself is capable of performing the third magic. Models that they use in the Holy Grail Wars are copies of Justice's model, so they are of the same composition. They are imprinted with a copy of her magic crest, which further amplify their magical abilities and preload them with all her magical knowledge and memories. So, there's a lot of Justice juice flowing around. And later models specifically were designed to carry the Lesser Grail inside them to protect the terminal, because the Einsburns were dumbasses and just left the Lesser Grail lying around for people to accidentally blow up. RIP. Now, even further that, right? Like I just described Justice model homunculi. That was the Third Holy Grail War 1. That was Idisville. Ilya is basically their magnum opus. She's an even more specialer model. I would argue she's more like a homunculi-human hybrid, right? Because remember how I said the definition of a homunculus works with outside a womb? Well, Ilya's veal was conceived naturally in, and was, grown in Irisveel's womb, and this is after Irisveel already had the Lesser Grail placed inside her, right? The Grail was physically integrated into her body. And Ilya was subjected to magical treatments in vitro. So this means that her body was born inherently with the ability to function as a Lesser Grail terminal. She has even greater magical output and compatibility with the Einsburn special mystic code, the Dress of Heaven. She is their greatest achievement. Like, this was... They used... they had Kiritsugu as the father, the sperm donor, basically, and he's a pretty high-quality mage. They went all out to produce Ilya. She is probably the best homunculus the Einsburns will ever produce. I'm actually pretty sure that's canon. So much so that I think I talked about this when we were talking about Grail Wars to fill in. Like, it's actually noted in some of the fluff materials. The Einsburns won't stop in their quest unless they can make an Ilia and she fails, because they will always know they can do something better.
Mm-hmm.
Now, moving on to a similar style of homunculus we've seen, this is in APOC, the Yggmalenia clan, and probably for reasons I'm going to circle back to later, the Music family and specifically, they developed homunculi by copying the Einsburn formula and other alchemical families' techniques. So, while they are dirty research thieves, this does mean they get results. Their quality isn't anywhere near these experts in it, but they're very easily mass-produced, and they can use them easily to serve as foot soldiers and house servants. You see this all the time in APOC. They have a literal army of these motherfuckers. This means that their combat and magical capability are on par with normal humans, basically. They're not like the Einsburn super homunculi. One of them can take on an enforcer, but they're pretty good, and they can make a lot of them. They're also described as having some kind of like low-level information sharing ability. They can like sense each other's presence and well-being. It doesn't matter because they basically have no survival instinct, but it probably helps them be so organized in large numbers, so they're maybe networked. So this was pretty well received in the other one. I got a little bit of theory crafting. I don't think it's explicitly stated anywhere, but I assume that Sieg is a higher quality of a homunculus because VK Braun interfered in his creation, because Sieg was born, created after all the servants were summoned by the Black Faction. Mm-hmm. So, and VK Braun was looking for the core for Adam, so I assume he was trying to make even betterer homunculi. So that's why Sieg has a even more shitload of mage circuits. And I say the Music family are probably responsible for this technique because they're an alchemical family. We know this. And Gordolf mentions using homunculi. He refers to Tool 4 specifically as his tutor, which means they are presumably, now that they're not Yggmalenia in our timeline, they're still producing Tool model homunculi. Tool or Tule being one of the side characters in APOC, the short-haired, sassy homunculus lady. And by the way, the reason why you saw so much of her is because Tool's model was designed. She had low circuit density, bad circuits, but good leadership skills because she was designed as a unit commander. So she is a officer-type homunculus. Unfortunately, did have a shortened lifespan, which is presumably why, as an adult, Gordolf has seen at least 4 tools. So that's a little sad. By the way, this is not in my notes, but it's canon to the epilogue of Apocrypha. Gordolf's dad, Goldes, kept Tool in his family.
Yes, I know this.
Yeah, and appointed her the tutor of his son, our boy Gordolf. To whip the kid into shape, she was known to physically hit him, and then when Gordes' wife protested, Tool beat her up too, and then Gordes himself, becoming for a total of 3 months until her lifespan did unfortunately run out, she was basically the head of his family, by virtue of being the punchiest. That's canon. It's great.
It is great.
Now, Atlas Academy is also known to produce homunculi, like Ronnie VIII, but we don't have any details on their exact techniques. We don't know how their style differs from the Yggmalenia or Einsburn style. We don't know that Atlas-style alchemy emphasizes internal shit, like thought acceleration and mental partitioning, which Sion has already mentioned some of that to us. So they're probably more big brain in the cognition department. It is noted that in the extra timeline, once mana is depleted, homunculi are usually made via cloning. They might be closer to designer babies, but might not. We're actually going to answer that question later, by the way. That's a single bullet point, luckily enough. But it's kind of wiggly about how, because mana is depleted, how magical they actually are. I don't think we know for sure, because the whole point of extra is that we don't know a lot about how Earth actually is, because we're on the moon. In cyberspace. We're in moon cyberspace. It's great. Now, I want to point out, Ronnie VIII is the exception. She is a very high-quality homunculus, created using Atlas techniques by Sion's sister, actually. Sealim. It's weird. I think she only exists in the extra timeline so far, but she's supposed to be Sion's twin sister. It's just in an extra timeline, Sion died as an infant, so I don't know. Does this mean she's still kicking around in FGO? No idea. But she's basically Sion with glasses and with glasses all the time and a ponytail.
Powerful.
Also slightly tall. Well, yes, Ronnie doesn't believe in underwear for some reason. I mean that literally, by the way. She is morally opposed to undergarments. I believe this is a conversation that comes up in Extra, because she is going commando. But, Rennie's a very high-quality homunculus herself. She has a special mystic code embedded in her, and a Spiritron computer is her core. So she's basically a magic cyborg. Like, she has an artificial humanoid body, and then has computer shit and magical nanofibers literally plugged into her physical form. So she was designed to do Spiritron hacking, mage wizard shit, literally. Like, she is absolutely designed to be a hacker homunculus. And it shows. When can we get our Ronnie pseudo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get some Ronnie action in there. That'd be pretty fun. Alternatively, because she was made by Sion's sister, I don't know if we go to an Atlas in an alternate timeline or something, if we could find a Ronnie in the basement. I don't know. It's weird. Atlas has a lot of shit in their basement, guys. Now let's actually, speaking of characters, let's run through some servant characters, actually, who are described as homunculi, to kind of talk about how this definition, as I mentioned earlier, is actually pretty wiggly. So, Fran is actually referred to as a homunculus. However, she was produced using dead flesh and synthetic components. We see this in APOC. She has cables inside her and stuff. Since she was an attempt to build an ideal human, Fran doesn't see herself as the same type of being as a homunculus, and she has a different function, but she is an artificial life form created through magecraft, so categorically she is, but I think it serves a different purpose. Like I said before, an ideal homunculus is supposed to be an artificial nature spirit. What Victor Frankenstein was trying to do was trying to build a new human, right?
Right.
So, Fran is technically a homunculus, but she functions very differently than one. Similarly, talking about APOC's story, Mordred is also sometimes referred to as a homunculus, but I think, based on my own research, she's probably closer to a hybrid like Ilia, or maybe even a designer baby like Mash. So she was made with magecraft, right?
Yes.
She does have accelerated aging and is supposed to have a shortened max lifespan. We don't know what that was because I think almost everybody in Camelot, other than Artoria, died in like their 20s and 30s. But she's explicitly described as a clone made with Artoria and Morgan's reproductive cells, and presumably was naturally born? I don't know. Morgan had like 4 kids before her. I don't know why she wouldn't just hide her weird designer baby as another kid. So it's a little open-ended. Again, like I said, doing the research, how Morgan creates Mordred really sounds similar to how the Einsburns created Ilia. Like, if that's not a deliberate parallel, I would be a little surprised. So, yes, she is a magic clone with accelerated aging, but she's not produced in the same way as other homunculi. So it's weird. Now, here's an interesting one you guys might not even know if you haven't actually looked at his profile lately, which, who can blame you? In FGO, Mephistopheles is actually a homunculus. He is a familiar created by Dr. Faust to basically be his advisor and play the role of a demon. But for some reason, the world may never know, Faust gave Mephisto a particularly strong ego, which created the evil clown we know today.
I do remember saying that this Mephistopheles wasn't the actual Mephistopheles, but I don't remember.
Yes, he's just a homunculus who is called Mephistopheles. And like I said, Faust dialed up that ego to 11, so that's why, for a homunculus, Mephistopheles is so idiosyncratic. However, because this story was the quote-unquote base that Goethe used for his play Faust, he gains new abilities as a servant. So he's... Arguably, this is similar to how other servants who are also probably homunculi work, where there's a lot of the servant, legend, noble phantasm stuff overlaid on him.
Mm-hmm.
But in his OG form, he is a type of homunculus. I mean, Fran does absorb... Through her galvanism skill, Fran does absorb electrical and light energy as mana, but it's not... That's a very specific function. Again, that's probably part of her inherent design. So I also want to throw out this because we do fight homunculi as mobs. These are probably even more primitive foot soldiers and familiars produced by Magi. They have no intent of making them properly humanoid. Like, as I said before, technically the homunculus definition says it's any kind of artificial life form. So those kinds of homunculi we meet and the homunculi babies we collect are probably the, like, really bargain bin basic bitch homunculi. Hey, I need an artificial living thing to punch people. I know how to make homunculi. Boom, I made a weird white thing.
Quick.
It wiggles its weird tentacle arms everywhere.
Homunculus babies.
Now, I want to talk about some things that are not homunculi really quick to round this out. Number 1, a golem is not a homunculi, though the Einsburns are really good at this. Now, I can probably not have to do a whole breakout on golems, because a golem is basically any construct made with a thaumaturgical process. Basically, you make a thing that moves around and does stuff with magic, Some are exceptionally humanoid, but they aren't guaranteed to actually be artificial life forms. The materials don't use human genetics and are instead traditionally earthen materials. EVK Braun notes his golems are traditionally made with metal, earth, or wood, right?
Right.
So there can be humanoid golems, but they also don't have to be, as we've seen from both APOC and FGO.
Wait, does that mean that Kato Danzo's a golem?
Possibly, she is. I don't actually know how the exact split is supposed to be. I think she was a Karakuri style puppet that was built first and then given a magic core to like function. But technically, again, a lot of these have broad definitions. She may technically count as a form of golem, yes. I won't hit anybody with the no stick if they're just like, oh, it's a magic construct, it's a golem. It's actually pretty open ended. I believe that at least in Shimosa, she's pretty consistently called a puppet, but that could just be a language specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one more thing that's not a homunculi. This is actually very important because this question comes up a lot. Designer babies are not homunculi. They are produced by artificially manipulating or inserting DNA in a fetus so you can alter their physical and metaphysical traits, such as developing magic circuits or a set lifespan. Mash, of course, is a designer baby. She was intended to be a demi-servant, but I didn't know this actually until I double-checked this. Designer babies also includes the extra timeline Shinji and Julius Harway. So that was an extra callback, I guess, making Mash a designer baby. Basically what this means is Mash may or may not have been born in a tube, but all her components are actual standard deoxyribonucleic acid. Like, I don't want to say she's all natural, because obviously they probably did some very specific things to make her into a demi-servant, make her compatible with summoning a servant, right?
Right.
Which is not probably a normal human trait. But in general, she's still made with DNA. Like, all of that is just DNA manipulation. And this, by the way, made me think of, this is my final thought here, for reals, other than maybe some summary. That's a great plot hook for somewhere in the next 5 years. Where did Marsbury get his DNA base from? You don't just make DNA out of nowhere. What starter sample did he use?
Who is Mash's parents?
Mm-hmm. And, like, again, because it's artificially manipulated, it could be there's, no one parent. God knows what kind of cloning templates he could have picked from. We already know cloning is a thing that could be done. But yeah, Mash is a human. She started with human DNA. It was specifically altered to increase her servant compatibility, basically. That process also gave her a set lifespan. But I'm pretty sure Mash doesn't even have good magic circuits out of the deal. Because I don't think we've ever seen her try and do a magecraft. Which, again, that's probably pretty indicative that she is not originally intended to be homunculus. While there are some homunculi who don't have, like, super high-quality magic circuits, almost all of them are intended to do magic. So, there. That actually hopefully clears that little definition up.
Honestly...
it could be possible she has circuits, but she's never discussed trying to do magecraft, so... I don't think she's ever said she has no ability. You do need training, obviously, but there is a little bit of self-study you can do.
Well, honestly, I think from the way what they were intended, they didn't want Mash to actually use any magic. They just wanted to fit into a role as a demi-servant and stick to that. And
honestly, teaching Mash how to do magecraft would probably be counterproductive because that would mean that she can, she could do the summoning on her own, which would be weird.
Yeah, so.
And I mean, technically, she might have better quality magical energy because she has... certain abilities of her own, but some of those are still inherited from her servant side, so it's a little weird. I don't know if that's like a teach me topic, but actually dissecting Mash's lore could be pretty interesting sometimes. For now, I believe that the Ortonax system supplements any ability she may have, either by converting electrical energy into magical energy, or just outright being an assist system. Who needs super strength when you have an exoskeleton? So yeah, that's homunculi. I'm glad it was a decently deep topic. We got a good combo out of it. And hopefully, like I said, that answers some of your questions directly. What is a homunculus? What is not? The various qualities, if you realize that homunculi do different things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. And so I want to talk about what, so far anyway, next month's questions will be. Because there will actually be multiples.
Yay!
Because in doing this, I actually did a lot of reading on the Einsburns, and it made me think of a actual decent topic that we haven't technically covered. We have talked about the foundation of the Holy Grail War of Fuyuki in general when talking about the Fuyuki system. But I think it could actually be helpful to our general Fate lore discussion to discuss who are the three founding families. Like, who are the Ainsburns, the Tosakas, and the Matos? Where do they come from? Any notable members? What's their, like, personal philosophies and stuff? Because, honestly, that's really shaped a shitload of stuff in Fate. Like, the Ainsburns' sheer stubbornness to recreate the third magic has caused so many fuck-ups. And that's not really part of the homunculus thing. So I'd love to dissect these three families and kind of see how we got here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've actually... We've discussed the world. I don't know if we've actually done the split between the Counterforce and Gaia. But our second question, which we'll probably still win because Lost Belt 3 did come out very recently, is... I said I would put it up here. The other question is going to be, what are dead apostles / true ancestors? Because they're the same, but not. So basically, Nazi versus vampires. I'm pretty sure that one will win. If we do that, we will almost assuredly have to talk about Gaia. Because that is absolutely how true ancestors are supposed to happen. It's weird.
Prepare for some good old Zeltrich.
Yeah, we're gonna... This is gonna be... I can tell you now, I don't know exactly how I'm gonna write it. This one's probably gonna be a little mind-bendy, because we're gonna have to talk about alternate world lines and, like, the different rules. Like, in the Fate-type worlds, there is a middle-class dead apostle ancestors who don't exist. Like, there are high-quality dead apostles who are strong, and there are some vampires who are so strong as to basically be true ancestors. There are true ancestors like Yume Ren, who are nature spirits who basically function that way. Like, she can eat human goo to get magical energy, but is not really a vampire, as we've seen. So, it's going to be a weird one, but I'm sure you guys in our Patreon are going to vote for it. And I'll be happy to dissect it if it wins. But yeah, those are our two so far. If you have any suggestions for Teach Me topics, try not to make them too super related. We've already talked about demonic beasts. I've been thinking with Vishra, should we maybe try and like talk about like figuring out more about the demons thing? But I think honestly the demonic beast discussion kind of talked about that because we did talk about the triangle.
Mm-hmm.
So the really general demon category or monsters is just bad stuff that beats up humans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we need to re-dive into that, but you know, if you have any other further lore topics you want to hit up, there's a few we can get into. And remember to check out our Teach Me playlist, which has all our backlog in it, so you can double check what topics we've talked about. And it's entirely possible that like we could, like I said earlier, talking about MASH, it's entirely possible that at some point we could dissect individual servants' lores.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of similar to how I set up Fan Servant Friday, but actually canon servants, and kind of talk about their very specific fiddly bits. Probably not, Axe, because there's like 5 billion minor families. And they're getting made more all the time. Hey, there's a character in Requiem who's a homunculus, and she's from a family who specializes in homunculi, but because Requiem is 2 volumes, I don't have any more than that, other than the shit is directly related to the plot of Requiem. No, Loth, I gotta go do the story, and then I want to go play Cyberpunk. I haven't played Cyberpunk all day.
Yeah.
I was writing the show notes. And also catching up on the finale of Mandalorian, which was like 45 minutes, but you know, I had stuff to do today. So that's our Teach Me. Obviously we still have a couple weeks left in the month, but in case you don't know, you might be new, Teach Omega Sensei is the lore topic we do every month. I post a poll to our Patreon. Patrons of the 5 and up level can participate in the poll and pick the next topic. And feel free to, everybody is free to make suggestions if you have ideas and concepts. There's some stuff that I, will dodge around or side saddle, but plenty of people have given me inspiration to do different topics. So if you have a suggestion, I would say make sure to double check like the playlist to see if we've already covered it or covered something like it, and we can work on from there. So that's that. How long have we been going? Almost 3, but they'll be editing. Okie dokie. I think that means though that it's time to wind down.
No.
Because I actually need to go grab my phone and log in because it's a login day. The login times. So, yeah. Next week, reminder, because it has been a couple hours, we're planning on having a live episode to public. It will be on Christmas Day. Don't feel bad if you can't show up, obviously. It'll still be posted, VOD, the normal way. But we will be doing that, because Fridays is when we actually record the episode.
Mm-hmm.
We will also, as far as I know, we are planning on doing an episode on the 1st. I don't know if that episode will also be live or whatnot, but we'll do something. It will exist. We will record it. Stuff will happen. next week I am going to do Fan Servant Friday. Again, spoilers, Red Baron won, so nobody could have seen that coming. It's not like he was in the lead the entire time.
Powerful.
Good.
No, I just said powerful.
Yeah. But also, I will be writing up notes for a pregame on Sparrow Inn, because there is an actual event with drops and currency and shit for New Year's. So, need to, preface that for people who are interested. So, that's I think where we're at. I'm yawning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm yawning, I'm rubbing my nose, I'm doing all the moves. It's times to wind down the show. Yeah, we pre-business all our business, and I just hit a business reminder, so I think it's time to business on out of here.
Preem.
Sick. Gotta go preem with all my chooms. Beat up those gangoons.
Fucking gonks.
Get chipped, get some chrome. Make those eddies. These are cyberpunk terms, by the way, if you're one of the, 50 people in our audience who don't understand us when we break out into this, because we do this a lot. We do this trick a lot. Well, Lucky's played, 10 hours, I think, on camera? Something like that? 9 or 10?
Yeah.
You did some pretty big streams. Okay, you want to experience yourself. That's fair. It's certainly an experience, and that's not like a backhanded compliment or whatever. No, it actually is a really interesting experience to just get in there. We'll talk about it more on What's Up, which will be streamed live tomorrow, if you're watching live as a patron, or you're getting the audio version. And later today, hopefully, assuming my computer doesn't explode. Which it won't, and it's just 3 hours. This isn't a 6-hour monster I'm cutting down. But, yeah, that'll be probably the subject of good old What's Up, which will be live later the day you listen to this public on YouTube. We'll see you guys there. So, it's time to do my outro. Why is my nose so itchy? I don't know. That's not part of the outro, by the way. That's just me making a comment. Anyway, hey, if you, oh, that's right. That's tonight's match. Sorry, I was just reminded. Somebody posted a very funny image. Somebody posted a very funny image in a spoiler about what tonight's match is. That's right. That's what we're dealing with.
I'm not going there. Heck yeah.
I forgot about this one. Okay. Anyway, the outro. If you like this video, and you're watching it on YouTube, be sure to give it a like. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. Maybe answer some of those questions I directly asked you. Yes, you, Tim, Bob,
Jeff, especially you,
J.
Kyle.
Not Jeff with a G. You get a free pass.
So
Anyway,
you specifically, Kyle.
Anyway, questions. They're there. You can leave comments. You can also join our Discord. That link is always in the video description and on our channel page. You can talk to us and lots of other helpful people. Who, if you just want to come on a Discord and complain about how you don't have any mats, everybody loves that one. We're all part of that conversation. You start bitching about mats, everybody's like, mats QP. Just smoking their cigarettes. Anyway, we don't condone smoking, by the way, YouTube. It's harmful to your health. Follow the Surgeon General's warning. But, if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel to always get our latest videos. Get more Let's Talk FGOs. Get more Wanted. I'll actually be interested to see how good Wanted Benny Enma does. She seems like she's popular.
Herb.
And also other things like streams and stuff. You can also hit the bell for notifications if you haven't already, even if you're already subscribed. So you always know when we post a new video or when we go live. That might be important if you want to catch that live stream next Friday. Go ahead and slap that bell. It's a symbol of victory, and also it'll mean you know when we post stuff. It's great. Also, probably not for this one, because, like I said, it's a very specific time frame they have to release it in, but sometimes I have to release Wanteds and other videos, at weird times. Sometimes I'll throw up a news desk at, 1 in the morning, because sometimes FGO just decides to announce things very shortly at, midnight, so you gotta deal with that. That's how it works. I guess it's, 9 p.m. for West Coast, but still. That is not normal business hours, guys. Anywho. That's all of our notes about that. Other than that, you can also join our channel by clicking that button, join our memberships, grow your emote selection. And, of course, like I said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early in audio format for as little as $1 a month or $10 a year. There's a new year starting, if you're thinking about it, just saying. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Though, obviously, we have been getting a lot of big up stuff from all the news and new stuff.
Yes.
People watch videos. It's great. Anyway, let's leave you guys to go watch some more videos, or maybe watch this video again 4 or 5 times. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get on out of here, Lucky.
Yep, I'm out.
Go the fuck to sleep, samurai.